Hello, everybody. Welcome back to MIRRORMOURN. Glad to be here. I am the Game Master, Esper, and we have our regular crew of 4 guys with us. Been playing this campaign for a while now. Things are really heating up. The story and the plot has been building and thickening, and the tension has been growing, and you all have won a great victory along with the Knights of Barnacle. But what else is a brewin'? Why don't you say who your characters are, and we'll get into the role-playing.
Hello everyone, I'm Warsor and I play Wallykos, the level 7 half-elf Swarm Ranger.
Sorry, realized I just muted myself. I am Vince and I play Vapor, the level 7 Wild Magic Sorcerer.
Hello, I'm Nick. I play Adriel Mentavel, the level 6 Rogue.
And I'm Adam, and I play Aygir, the Armorer Artificer, who, by the end of this session, better be level 7, which is close.
Technically, a couple of you need to finish long rests to actually gain the level up, but that's just right there around the corner.
Esper's like, we can't rest, we have to go right into this encounter.
Okay, so as I mentioned briefly to you all pre-stream, I think a lot of this session will be driven by what you all are doing. After last session, you all shared a bunch of different ideas of what your characters would want to do with this recent victory that you have won there at Tastinietsat, the old giant fortress coming up out of the ocean. And you have the corpse of an emerald dragon, which apparently is Zelex. And you have a few, I think 4 to be exact, dwarven captives, prisoners, one of which is flying one of their air vessels that Aygir boldly jumped onto and forced his way into and is under threat and menace, having the pilot continue to pilot the craft. What else? Well, there's some implications as to what is going on with this battle, and there are some questions as to what they were doing there, and is this part of something larger, which you suspect it is. So we have you all, the vanguard, along with the top 4 knights of Barnacle and their kite sail mounts flying back into Barnacle. And first you come over the port, the kite sails waving through the air as they flap their hind wings, and most impressively so, this aeroskiff, that's what they're called, aeroskiff, which has a dirigible like construction, though it does have these magical force ports that serve sort of like propulsion engines, and that comes in. It's not a fast or swift air vessel, nor is
Especially
it huge.
At the moment.
Yeah, nor is it huge. The kite sails actually fly faster than it, but it's not slow either. It flies faster than like a regular person's 30-foot move speed. This comes overhead, and everybody who is working there in the port stops mid oar stroke, mid rope tie, mid cart hauling, mid loading up one of their beasts of burden, and gawks and stares as this aerial procession goes overhead. Now, they've seen kite sails before, of course. The Sky Knights of Barnacle will fly them on, those certain occasions. But no one has ever seen this aeroskiff before. and it
Or
is
the
truly
dead
a
dragon.
wonder of artifice and engineering and magic.
And don't forget the dead dragon, of course.
Yeah, there is a
Yeah,
dragon.
that's why I
Not
said it's,
least of which is the body of a green emerald dragon. It is green, but not a green dragon, an emerald dragon with gleaming gem-like scales. A veritable trophy lashed to the airship. We can probably give a nod to Vapor for being the one who was instrumental in both the final slaying of that dragon and getting it lashed up to the airship.
Yeah, we should start calling him the fisherman.
I didn't knock it down. I just made sure it was dead. That's
Wallykos
all I
knocked
could
it
do.
out. Vapor actually
Thank
did it
you.
in
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll give
before it
credit to
could
definitely
either have a
Walykos.
chance to resuscitate or get rescued by whoever that was wearing the full body suit and piloting a submergible underwater craft. So the lead knights of Barnacle, along with the four of you, Walykos and Adriel being knight errants, and Vapor and Aygir being magi, come and you do this aerial procession and make your way to Longkeep, this great stretching bridge causeway that leads to this giant, literally giant's castle atop this peak, this uprise.
Yes.
And
we need to see the Duke.
With
immediately.
Penn Drakestone's permission that Aygir would have asked earlier, he's actually going to
No.
he'll meet them there on foot. He's going to take this aeroskiff directly to the Broken Tower, since that
No.
seems like the most logical place to moor it.
No, we need to go straight to the Duke. We need to get
That's
what we-
you can
yeah.
you can go there first. I'll meet you there. That was what was discussed last time.
I think we should bring the skiff with us. It's very short distance to take the skiff across the city to the Broken Tower, but we can't just make that decision. That's the Duke. You know, we need to report to him what we, captured and show him.
Well, so why don't actually then in that case, why don't I go ahead and just drop off the body of Zelex there?
Yeah,
I don't think there's anywhere to really land it near Longkeep. I don't know, can it land?
I
That's
would
the
hope
only
so.
reason why I'm...
it's a giant's keep. I would assume it's got a roof.
yes, yeah, there are platforms, particularly where the kite sails take off and land. And the vessel is not massive. It's, I think it's technically considered a huge size vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah, there really isn't anywhere to put it at the Broken Tower. The Broken Tower literally is a tower with a broken top.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have... I see. I was envisioning like mooring an airship like they used to do back in the day with airships.
Well, we can work
tying
out the
it to a post.
arrangements.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Getting it to the Broken Tower.
Pin Drakestone is of the same mind as Wallykos. We need to bring all of this to Long Castle, and
then
this
we'll
is
sort down the
of
little
immediate, urgent interest to the Duke and all the court.
Especially
No.
because last time, just to recap, we gathered some information from the prisoners that
Right.
we kind of pretended to be with them and then got them to reveal a few things. We found a map which has sort of invasion plans on it, locations of strong points, and there was something else, Esper. There was the map they didn't want us to find, and something else. What was it? Do you recall?
Vapor recovered the map, and
Let me check my notes. Maybe I wrote it down.
Well, there was just the body of Zelex itself was another thing.
We Zelix we had already done. There was something else. Maybe it was a
Sending
logbook.
Stone.
Sending stone.
Oh yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
a sending
Yes.
stone.
The
connected to
logbook was in
somebody
the first airship that you guys looked
You're
at,
right.
which it didn't. There was nothing shocking or revelatory in it. It was pretty standard.
It showed that they came across like the Sea of Lava or something.
Exactly.
To that effect.
But in the other airship, stowed in there, Vapor, who he went underwater and was looking around, he found the, like you said, the stages of invasion planned out on a map and a sending stone.
with notes and the margins and things, more detail that we can prove this isn't just a hypothetical, it is a real thing that they're committing to.
And just a clarification, did you guys actually learn that the dragon was Zelix? I don't remember if that was the case.
Yes, because you and I talked to
we got it from the
prisoner,
dwarf. That's right. Okay.
and
The
he
interrogation.
he said that it was Zelix, and that's what brought it to me. And you already knew that, but you kind of played dumb.
Yeah.
Wallykos, you would be surprised by that revelation because you knew Zelix as a man. Yeah, an elven man, a kind of short, lithe elven man.
But he always wore a mask, so yeah.
Well, and dragons
Adriel
and polymorph go together. Like,
Adriel
two
was
things go
very
together.
surprised as well.
How well do I really know that's the thing, like dragons aren't just like elves or giants. Like those are more common races. Dragons are so unusual. We don't necessarily know about all their capabilities yet. In character, of course. Out of character, of course they can polymorph.
Okay, do any of you have anything important that you do in the little span of time before you're in the throne room with the Duke?
I don't have anything important that I need to do in that span of time, but I still do have that meeting with the Duchess and the Duke at some point. I think that's later tonight, though.
You're thinking of the invitation to the dinner at
Honeybeak.
House Honeybeak.
Yep,
Yes.
Honeybeak.
Yeah, so that's not the Duke. That's House Honeybeak. They're
Oh, sorry, not
Plants
a yeah, they're a minor noble house, though they are
It was definitely a
allied
get
with
you.
and part of the wider Drakestone faction.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're
And
noble house of Strong Castle.
Yep, and I think that's tonight, not anytime soon. But I just wanted to mention that I'll be doing
Sure.
that.
So in those moments, once the aeroskip is safely on the ground, he's going to call to some guards, Aygir is, and is going to say,
Well,
make sure this one does not get a head for running away, but do not see he comes to harm. He's the only one who knows how to work this thing for right now.
before we even get that far, Esper, do we have a long rest between the travel time or no? Just
I
curious.
doubt it.
Nope. It's
Okay,
just
that's
a couple hours to fly back.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know whether or not I need to do my reveals and moments of evolving. So
Yeah, for me, like Adriel, I guess when we do finally get there, he's not looking really good still. Like he kind of doesn't want to go, but he kind of goes because it's the Duke and he kind of has to. But like he just wants to go to. Yeah, he's not looking great.
Well, Vapor would be willing to give some medicine to Adriel, but Adriel just said he doesn't want any help from Vapor anymore. So
I've got this pink goop.
Okay,
Do you
so
offer it to-
a short
No.
time later, you all are in the throne room, along with those 4 prestigious knights whom you accompanied to the battle at the giant ocean ruins. There's Duke Ormond Drakestone. There
Nobody
is
died.
the Duchess as well. Avon. There are a number of other high ranking official people, such as Crane Wellings, the court seneschal. There's Duncan Mantevale, master of rituals, grandfather of Adriel. Crispin Hollows, the tower wizard of House Mantevale. There's one other that I didn't want to forget who's there. Sorcerer Flay, the captain of the city
Lady
guard.
Locke isn't there, right?
Locke is
Daughter of Duncan Mantevale. I just have her written down here under my royal court people that we met and such.
Yes. No. That's Adriel's mother.
Got it.
Yeah,
That's where
daughter of Duncan Mantevale, mother of Adriel. No, she is not there.
No.
And this,
So,
this
you
isn't
all,
big enough
along with
for-
the knights, give a play-by-play breakdown of everything that happened from when you left Barnacle to how the whole battle played out and everything that happened there, to the way back, and the items recovered by Vapor and this Emerald Dragon. It all gets, explained out there, and I assume you all, along with the knights, are giving the breakdown.
Yeah, no, definitely. I want to lay it all out for them and say that this is an imminent invasion we should take seriously. It's clear that everything that's been done up to this point, even the feud between you and the Merocrats, has all been to distract you from even noticing that they were preparing this invasion to strike. I think, honestly, with all respect, Duke, we should parlay with the Merocrats immediately and let them know what's been happening, give them the information, and see if they will come to see reason in working together with you to defend the city.
Aygir, thinking that he has earned the right to interject by this point, given his current status, does say, yes, now that we know you're not going to blow up, I think that meeting you were going to have should probably proceed as planned.
Well,
the Duke says,
the city discourse is set for tomorrow. I immediately am going to seek an audience with Porcelina, the Sea Queen. She needs to see this evidence that you have brought here. She needs to be aware that indeed this is not just hearsay or speculation. There truly is a dire threat to all of Barnacle, to all of Haven Isle. She needs to see the evidence for herself. She can convey this to those that would otherwise not believe in us or would naysay our tellings.
And we're happy to support you in that, because the whole city saw us bring the dragon back. We've presented all the evidence. We can be your eyes telling the story to her if you want us there.
Crane, ready to dispatch.
And he, quickly gets Crane Wellings to drop something, and he signs it off real quick. They roll it up and seal it, and like Crane goes off with a few, he'll get a few guardsmen and like hasten by Nikos all the way to the eastern ward of the city to the Sea Queen's palace, and try to get her to meet, so that way they can continue with the city discourse tomorrow, so the public can see this, and the public can see the leaders of both sides say that they've both reviewed the same evidence and the same report from you all and the knights, and hopefully that will
unite,
be some kind of measure to withstand whatever's about to fall upon the city. So that's kind of the next point is, there's everybody, each one of you and all the knights and the Duke, and everyone's got their ideas to like what the hell actually what is going to happen. And the main objective document would be what Vapor recovered, and that shows, plans of moving ships and troops, both water ships and some airborne vessels, from Grootvaters to some, rally points.
Apparently, and Duke, I just want to let you know, this is Zelix. The dragon was one of Veilvander's top lieutenants. So taking him off the board was a huge blow. I'm sure that Veilvander was relying on his power, to help him take the city or enact whatever invasion plan he had.
Well, and something out of character, then something in character. But we also, in addition to that, so did we think that the town guard went after we left to go and inspect that warehouse with the hidden part where Zelix was operating for a time, or
I don't recall you all talking to anybody about that aside from Arachno.
Then
who was
in
there
character,
with you. Yeah,
but Aygir kind of adds on to what Wallykos said with, yes, and also there's a warehouse in this very own city where there were important explosives they were going to use to kick off this whole thing.
Yes, we haven't located the explosives yet. That is still concerning.
He makes a point to say that that's where they were like planning on bringing them in.
We know that's likely where the guy with the submarine or whatever suit may be using to get into the city through that tunnel.
And also,
yes, those puzzle pieces fit very well.
Yeah.
That underwater big tunnel he would use to get in and out.
So I'm
unseen.
Thinking there's still one guy running around at the very least, a door for someone who could be a potential threat. We need to watch that warehouse carefully. We have someone who could do that.
Yeah, I assume we have that moment where all of our characters collectively like start to talk over each other, and then each stop, like, no, you go, and then all in unison together say submarine, except one of us says underwater ship. At some point, just like, oh right, by the way, also there's that.
Yes, there's a lot to tell him, but we get through it.
Never before have I heard of a ship that can go underneath the waves, but then again, I have never heard of a dragon allying with giants. They're bitter enemies.
There's a lot here that doesn't add up, but we can see with our own eyes that is so. We've, got eyewitnesses.
Duncan Manteville adds on to that.
Well, as you have seen, Duke, time and again, Belvander's influence has a corrupting effect and can twist people against their own kin, against what would rightly be a normality. Elves siding with giants, that alone is it's a corrupted degradation of the right order of things.
I would say one of his most dangerous qualities is not just his ability to use magic and, his power as a giant, but his persuasion, his ability to charismatically influence people young who, want to believe in him to do what he wants.
Sometimes words can be much more powerful than, spellcraft or weapons.
I know that firsthand.
So, the map does show, we'll call it the battle strategy map, does show some important pieces of information, though it is just a map. It's not a detailed layout of every single play and plan, and some things are open to interpretation. What does that mean that they stationed this group there at the water fortress? Yeah. What exactly was the point of that? So there's different speculations. Some think that they're gonna keep a lookout for water vessels coming from Barnacle. Others think they're going to be a flank attack for when a main attack hits Holmesgate or later on hits the port of Barnacle.
The generals can, debate over that. That's what they do best. As far as we're concerned, I think uniting the Merocrats with the Royals seems like a good first step for us. Once that discord is removed, I think we'll have a much better time of figuring out what our next step should be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was what started us down this immediate path, was preventing their meeting from being attacked.
Yeah. It seems as though like a common enemy will kind of bring them together, at least for the moment.
Historically, that is a very powerful thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I certainly have the highest hopes for this, Adriel. And this decisive victory that you all have won. Honor to you all, knights and magi.
And honor to
at the very least, will have complicated and slowed down their advance. And dare we to hope even thwarted it for a time.
They do seem to have been having that holdout, that stronghold, as some kind of setting up for some sort of an attack. So us dealing with that.
It's a very strategic location. Yeah.
May I suggest,
particularly they can flank Holmesgate from there because, unless they have, the flying vessels could fly over the the obsidian barrier. Those things that look kind of like ridges or spiky mountains, that's called the obsidian barrier. And they are very much like mountains, and they're mainly composed of obsidian. And that blocks the sea of lava outside from the actual water interior. What would we call that? Like an inner sea.
Yeah. May I suggest immediately using whatever resources you have to extract any further information that the other doors may have, that each might have a little piece that could seem insignificant when taken alone, but in light of all that we know, could be maybe we know where they're placing the barrels of explosives, for example, or something along those lines. Magical means such as detecting thoughts or extracting the information through divinations. I don't know. That's we provide you the prisoners. Do what you think is.
Duncan Mantevale and Crispin Hallows probably have some apprentices who can practice some of that.
Yeah, it's minor magics. It's not like 9th level magics. It's 2nd level, ish, maybe.
That is still very much a concern,
says Duncan Mantevale.
We have not located exactly where the barrels of crackle powder, if they even be barrels, where they've been placed. We have not located them yet, though we have not given up in our searching. With the Merocrats more unified with us, hopefully that will facilitate searches, whereas before they would constantly complicate and stymie our well, maybe they would just open themselves up to full searches all throughout the eastern wings of the city.
I'm just trying to think where that would do the most damage. Taking out the leadership could do damage. Taking out the kite sails, ability to control the air could do a lot of damage.
Yeah, those are pretty big concerns. The major like governance and military centers of the city.
We should definitely be more guarded. Maybe do searches of high priority areas.
Okay, so it's looking like the search effort is going to go away from the Shackle Downs slum ward. That's south. That's south of the port, is where you've been searching. Which that's where the clues were, the initial clues. So it's going to shift from there to Strong Castle and Long Keep, and then probably also the Sea Palace.
Yeah, because they've had time to move them since then.
That's the thought. Yeah. This whole time you've been like a couple steps behind them in your searches.
But now that we know
so now though, do we think maybe there aren't agents still in the city, or are we fairly certain there still are?
I feel like we're sure that there are.
Well, you know that there are at least 3, right? You got those nicknames, right? And one of them apparently is out of the city.
One's out of the city on a ship. The other 2. We don't know where they are, so...
Jib, Wormbait, and Klein are the
Jib
3 that you know
ship.
Still... Yeah. Jib... Not Jib, Wormbait.
Wormbait's
like the dwarven fellow that you were looking after, and you learned that he was on a ship and they're headed west to the oh my gosh, the Steam Curtain region, the Stepland region.
Does locate object work on crackle powder?
Crackle powder?
I think it has to be a specific object, doesn't it?
Well, no, I don't think it does. I think it can be any...
I imagine it would. I mean, it is an object, so...
Yeah, so long as we understand what it's not like some sort of thing that I have no idea what it is, but I want this name of the object. No, I can see a sample of crackle powder.
Yeah,
and
we're eminently familiar with how crackle powder looks and feels and all of that.
Sure.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. Just because it's made of little granule things, it's an object. So
I think we should try and rest up. We were, we took some hits. We had some close calls on that aisle. So luckily, we're all still here.
All right,
we
so
can use some rest.
We've got a couple main points, and then there'll be a couple other things that should still be discussed. So, word is being sent to the Merocrats, principally Porcelina. City discourse is going to take place tomorrow, and hopefully there's going to be a unifying effect with both sides coming to the same realization. And then a refocusing of the search is going to get out, change from Shackledowns to, I guess the next location will probably just be Longkeep. Then it will go to Strong Castle. Maybe they can get both of those tomorrow between now to the end of tomorrow. It's a lot to cover, especially Strong Castle is really big. And then maybe the day after that would be the Sea Palace and some other nearby, governance official buildings and such. So hopefully the next couple days those will be searched, or at least mostly searched. They will be continue to search by city guards, and then supplemented by locate object spells cast by Duncan and Crispin. What else is there? There's the topic of the dragon's body, which, what the hell do we do with this dragon's body? People have spoken of getting scales from it, and the knights all want it to as some kind of
armor.
If not armor, at least mounted as some token of victory.
That's what it
Vapor
is.
would like to have first dibs on what happens with that carcass, since he was the one who recovered.
Yes, I think that we could discuss what you're planning on doing with it. What do you want to do with it, Vapor?
Well, he would like to harvest it. The skull he thinks could be a good mount for the airship.
And that's another point of discussion, is the airship. What will be done with the airship?
Just who has the final say in that? The Duke, I would assume. So while we're talking, Aygir has brought up that he thinks the airship would make a fine mobile headquarters for our little band.
I heard, yes, it is a valuable asset that we could put to great use in the coming fight if it were to be reappropriated, as we have done from its original owners.
And if that is not amenable, if it is too valuable a resource to the kingdom, perhaps we could replicate one. Perhaps we could study its design enough that we could make our own and then have our own. But
it is perhaps now that I should have to take the time to say that we don't as of yet know how to pilot it ourselves. We have a prisoner there under guard right now who I was able to convince to fly it here, but we're going to need to figure out something more long-term for a solution. Assuming he is not able to be converted fully to our cause.
I'm sure that we can figure out how to fly it, and if not,
I can
then
speak Dwarven. I can just ask him what does this lever do? What does that lever do? And he can train, us on how to do it, which will take a lot less time than us figuring it out ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is the potential for getting trained on how to pilot it, assuming you can get the dwarf to cooperate in some capacity.
I'm sure we can get him to cooperate in some way.
That's what charm magic is for.
Okay, so the dragon corpse and the airship are not completely decided, but the general idea is that the dragon is going to be utilized for what components it can provide sometime in the near future, and that you all are going to learn how to pilot that airship.
I'll be honest.
We'll figure out exactly what the usage of you piloting it's going to be. If it's city defense, is it just your own personal vehicle? You can just fly around wherever you want if you decide you want to go somewhere else as your possession.
I would definitely not mind some dragon scaled armor or something, some
weapons or something. Yeah, I would love that too. That'd be great.
Speaking of weapons, that brings us to the next point.
Sure.
Duncan Mantevale and Crispin Hallows turn towards the vanguard.
We are currently in the process of working on some
weapons appropriate to the function that you are all fulfilling.
Oh.
The Grand Sky Knights of Barnacle, as you see, wield magically forged and prepared armaments and defenses. It is befitting that those who are at the very front of this fight, the vanguard, also be equipped. We are putting the finishing touches onto an item for Wallykos. Adriel, and Duncan looks right into your eye. I have prepared a sword for you.
Well, I appreciate that. I look forward to seeing it.
Greatly appreciated. I was just thinking that it's a shame we don't have time to, go exploring as much as we did anymore, and look for such wondrous items in the ruins. But this will help with our mission, staying focused.
It would seem that time is of the essence. Aygir and Vapor, our intentions are to produce items for you as well, which hopefully we can get on to just later today, this evening. You look at him and you can already tell that they are just like sleep deprived. They've been working pretty much nonstop, barely resting. And in the world of MIRRORMOURN, elves do sleep just like any old regular person does.
Well, I think that
Aygir leans uncomfortably close to one of them and says, "Oh, you have? I have diagrams I've drawn if you want to compare notes."
I was hoping you would say that. Thus, it was.
I'm not going to say easier, but the inspiration for what Walykos and Adriel would properly wield was readily at hand. Was close to me. I do not know you as well, Aygir, or you, Vapor, and so, yes, a brainstorming together would be a good idea.
To take the time if you have a few moments to discuss some technical matters.
Aygir, perhaps we should allow them some sort of rest.
Aygir looks over at
been
you
working
with a glare, with an excited gleam in his eye that glistens just like the little bit of spit hanging off the nose of the elf that he's just been talking at, and says, yes, well, of course.
Vapor also puts a hand on Aygir's shoulder that I try to pull him back a bit.
Anyways, I believe that the stronger any kinds of weapons or items that you can provide to us will strengthen our group, the Vanguard, which will allow us to defend the city and, well, accomplish our goals and the city's goals much more easily and feasibly.
Yes, there is much significance to providing your group with these armaments. And we can go to that after this current scene is done. The next point, which is just a question that is being begged to ask. What about this sending stone? Who does this communicate with, and should we use it?
I'm pretty sure we could make a guess. It's a giant. Yeah. And the problem is when you use a sending stone,
someone knows.
You're talking into it, and
they don't have to respond, so...
Yeah, they don't have to respond. We give them information by opening the communication. Now, if we could fool them somehow by making a voice that sounds like who they'd be expecting, like Zelex, the problem is we just don't know how to do that. I think we shouldn't do it. There's no downside There's no downside to not doing it at the moment. Whereas if we did do it, there would be
Right.
an outside.
We didn't really hear Zellex talk enough to replicate his voice, did we?
No, he never spoke at all because
I'm actually the only one who probably knows how he speaks, but I can't.
Well, actually,
Wallykos does.
I did hear him in human form.
That's true.
However,
it was
were
a long
you to
time
replicate
ago.
that, it's entirely possible that they're like, oh, hey, this sounds like Zellex back in under his human guise.
Why is he talking?
That?
Yeah, why are you talking like that, Zellex?
Yeah, just talk to me in your normal form. Like, what do you have to hide, you know?
Yeah.
Or like the fact that he didn't open with some code phrase is just like,
Well,
Exactly.
what if we had one of the dwarves speak into it? What if we convinced him to do something?
Yeah, maybe, but let's not risk it right now because he could be like, "Yeah, I'll do that." Takes it.
Yeah.
We've been captured.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean,
change
that's
the plans
always
to Plan Z. You know.
Yeah, of course.
Execute Plan Zeta. Yep. Anyways,
we could cast like a charm spell on the dwarf or something. And...
even so, their charm is not a dominate.
I know.
Like,
it's
puppet.
not perfect. Yeah.
So here's my thought: hold on to it. See if someone communicates with us. If someone sends a message to us, have someone receive the message but not reply to it.
Exactly.
That way, we know if they send a message like now is the time to proceed to phase 2 or something like that. At least we might have a little information.
Yeah, because to be fair, like the sending stone could have been given to Zellex and them to be like, "Hey, wait for my order," right? Like, don't communicate, just wait, right? And so we don't know.
The only other thing I could think of is like do an augury. Does using the stone give us wheel woe, kind of deal? You know what I mean? But
I think it's best to just like leave
outside
it be,
my wheelhouse.
Hope that someone communicates first so we get more information, and if they don't, then oh well, like.
Yeah. Leave it with who was let's leave it with
Sources Flame, maybe?
No, not Sources.
Oh, not Sources.
I would leave it with Crispin Hollows.
He's the one who's most likely to understand it.
He's knowledgeable enough with arcane things. He's situated enough in our circle of trust, and he also could, come up. He's creative enough that he might have a good idea to fool whoever's on the other end if he has to reply quickly.
Yeah.
He was our
the ball is in your court, Esper, but Crispin Hollows will be your tool.
Seems like a good candidate.
Yeah.
Crispin, says the Duke, I entrust this stone to you. May your arcane knowledge and mastery and your ingenuity serve the best usage of it. I will tell you that if you are of a mind to initiate contact, you must brief me first. For even a well-studied wizard can have oversights, and well,
you're being
I've seen enough oversights come and go in my day that they oftentimes glare at me, and I can spot pitfalls a mile away.
It's always best to be cautious in matters like this.
No, I think.
Well, I will take this under most careful and considerate of charges, and well, I do have a couple notions that are beginning to burgeon within my mind. Once they come to fuller fruition, I will most certainly discuss them with you beforehand, my lord.
Excellent.
Okay. Any other major points that we should do here before we go on to either resting or the storm tower with weapons being finished / drawn up, planned out?
Well, so resting, we do have some level ups, so I guess we'll do those, and then we'll move to the storm tower and make like a more full
whatever
thing of
order
that.
makes narrative sense.
I think the storm tower first would be best, and then because let's get all of our affairs managed and then do the resting.
Let's let the people level up and describe stuff.
But here's the thing: we could sleep. You have a level of exhaustion, Adriel. Everything that you're doing right now is like at disadvantage on your ability checks. So you might just want to sleep and be like, yeah, we'll get our weapons in the morning. Let the other two that built our weapons get some rest because they're exhausted too.
True.
I think that
makes sense. Yeah, Adriel's wounded, and Crispin and Duncan are very tired, and they need to do like the final finishing bit on Wallykos' weapon, and then you'll meet with them. Well, let's see. You can meet with them tomorrow morning. The dinner is this evening for Adriel, so
I know I'm not gonna get a full long rest. I'm aware it's gonna be rough. unless the time, I don't know, unless the time frame works out to 8 hours.
You could do the long rest now and then like go late to the dinner.
Here's my
might
question.
Just send a page to tell them you're going to be showing up late.
Adriel's like, yeah, I've got to prepare for dinner. I'm going to dinner. Is that
if we're finished with this scene with the Duke, as we're leaving, I guess on our way back to oh goodness, what's it called again? The Broken Tower. It's the Broken Tower, right?
Storm Tower.
Storm Tower.
Storm Tower.
We live in Storm Tower. Yeah.
Storm Tower. Man, names. I always.
It's okay. There's a lot of towers.
yeah. But yeah, on the way back with Wallykos, right when we leave the Duke, Adriel kind of loses his composure again. Still he was kind of holding up this facade of kind of strength in the presence of the Duke, but afterwards he's just and he looks to Wallykos. He goes, well, Wallykos, I think it's best for us to get back and rest. Unfortunately, I do have a dinner that I have to attend to. Yes.
What do you mean?
What was it called again? The honey
House Honeybeak.
Honeybee. With House Honeybeak.
House Honeybeak. Wait, that courting letter? The one who wants to take a bite out of you?
Yes, I do understand that it's quite strange, but
she's a minor house. I'm sure she'll understand that you just got back from slaughtering a dragon. They can reschedule that. Let's do it after the bureaucrats, right?
I see your point, but I'd rather just go ahead and get it over with, deal with it, and
wait. So you're just going along with it, but you're not into it. You're not actually.
Well, I do think that it could help us further. Any allies is always useful, especially with what's going on with
Adriel, they're so far beneath you. We have allies in the Drake Stones. You could ask for any woman in the city right now, and they would want to set up a dinner with you, to hear what you could make allies with. Esper, throw me a house name of one of the other major houses. Sorry, I don't have it in front of me. But you know what I'm talking about.
Sure. Havenward.
Yeah, you could get the Havenwards to be eating out of the palm of your hand if you wanted to right now. Why concern yourself with a honeybeak? No offense to the honeybeaks. I'm sure they're a very nice family, but they're not that politically important.
Yeah, they're about the same level as Mantavale, right? It'd be a lateral move for him.
No, they're a minor noble house.
Yeah, Mantavale's at least.
Mantavale has one of the towers.
Yeah, it's a move backwards.
Mantavale's decent up, yeah.
It's a move backwards.
Adriel kind of thinks on it a bit, but then he says, I do understand your concerns, but I don't know, just something not so extravagant, something a little bit more normal might be in order with all of the crazy things that we've had over the course of these last few days. I honestly kind of just want to have a simple dinner with a simple group of people.
I give Adriel a strange look because this
is definitely out of character.
Yeah, he's he's turning down, he's acting very strange. Normally these words that I would say to him, he'd be like, oh yeah, fuck the honeybeaks or whatever. They're nobodies. And I just kind of give him a strange look. I'm like, Adriel, you're not thinking of retiring and becoming some minor noble husband, just to get away from is it too much, Adriel? Is the excitement, the swinging from rooftop to rooftop and doing, the
almost dying, getting shot by arcane ballistae.
Is it giving you second thoughts, Adriel?
Yeah, I'm kind of like holding my side where like the ballista shot me, like still like very like very small bandages, like very like rudimentary. It's still a lot of pain, and I just kind of
rub a good berry on it.
Yeah, but I kind of look at you. I go, no, Wallykos, I not looking to end fun times yet. I still have my goals, but one night of respite, I think, is in order. At least I don't think
you're gonna get any, Adriel. Like. It's like a family dinner. You're not even gonna get a night of enjoyment out of this, I don't think.
Well, you never know. Apparently their daughter is quite enthralled with me.
Well, I guess
I will briefly interject just to give a little bit of context. Yeah. This sort of dinner is a very normal thing.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Especially for noble houses wanting to curry favor with others of a bit higher station. It's very, very normal. The only thing that maybe strikes a little bit odd is that Adriel is wounded.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's also just with Adriel wanting going in the first place. Like this isn't usual. Like Adriel generally wouldn't do this kind of thing. Like he's not really interested in the
Adriel, if you're gonna spend your night that way, I guess I'll do something else then. I was gonna talk to you and just I guess maybe see what we could get up to, but that's fine.
Perhaps, Adriel is a guest of honor at a dinner that Honeybeak is holding. So
La-dee-doo.
perhaps
Sir
another day,
Adriel.
Wallykos.
That's fine. You know what?
I would like
I'll go find myself my own dinner with someone else. I'll find I'll be fine. Don't worry about me.
I'm sure that you will. You're much more charming than I am in many cases.
Oh, I hardly think that's the case. No, Adriel, you've always had a way with people. So,
well, some people I wouldn't like. Remember that strange woman that we met that one.
Yes. No.
The feet were not.
Don't remind me. I was really desperate back then. It was a rough night.
I could tell. If only you were invited to.
Hey man, you saw how I looked under that mask. Yeah.
True. Your looks have returned though, if I may say. I'm sure that any of the ladies in Barnacle would love to have you.
Let's not go too deep down the rabbit hole there. I think that well, if you need this, Adriel, it sounds like something that'll be a small light in this, storm for you. Hopefully it'll get it out of your system and then, back to saving the kingdom, saving, stopping Bale Vondor.
Getting shot by ballistas.
Well, no, you should definitely dodge that next time, uncannily.
That's very good advice, Wallykos. I will definitely dodge it next time.
Yeah, think about that while you're at this dinner. Anyways,
well, let's get back. I'd like to have my bandages changed and
get as much rest as you can. Honestly, I think I'm gonna go to sleep as soon as I can.
It makes sense. You all are quite worn out. You are. Yeah. Most of you are hurt. Adriel particularly is injured. So you all retire. Wallykos and Adriel to the Storm Tower. Aygir and Vapor go to maybe the Arcane Sanctum.
Yeah.
After Vapor tries to figure out what's going to happen with the dragon, because he does want to keep.
We told you that you'll be able to harvest stuff. Just give them time to make the decision.
Aygir will say yes, we're going to keep it under guard. In particular, one that I know is in charge. He's a good man.
So here's an offer. You all can make usage of the choice dragon scales that can be used for armor.
I love that.
And the rest of it is going to be used, by the Drakestone court as this, figurehead, this symbol of the victory struck against the forces of giants, right? Like the new giant threat that you're under now.
For sure. So I know dragon scale...
Is the vanguard amenable to this?
Yeah, and actually, the armorer among them probably does something akin to what he did earlier of talking a little bit uncomfortably close to somebody about, oh yes, I automatically have diagrams drawn up. Armor.
Okay, so if one of you is particularly good at, I don't think harvesting is the right word, at extracting or skinning the scales, one of you can do it. Otherwise, don't worry about it. They'll have, like actual master leather worker of the court take care of it.
I should let the leather master do it. Like, I have survival, but that's not the same as a tooled, expert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aygir is an armorer, not a tanner or a butcher.
Sure, that's fine. So, from a large-sized dragon, they will obtain 500 gold pieces worth of choice scales. From that, they could make a suit of medium dragon scale armor.
I think that's good for me.
It would be an AC of 14 plus Dex, max 2, no stealth disadvantage, and you would gain, while you're wearing it, you would have resistance to the associated damage types.
Damage is emerald.
Yeah.
Actually, Emerald has psychic and fire.
Ooh,
wait, what?
So would it be both?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Emeralds don't have any immunity, but they have resistance to psychic and fire.
That's okay.
I see.
I'm happy to take a resistance to both. Fire is great. Honestly.
Is it possible to use some scales as an additive to a suit of armor?
Left over, they would have 50 gold pieces worth of choice scales, which is not much.
Just looking at this, it looks like it's very similar to what you just described, Dragon Scale Mail, which is armor class 14. It's an item. While you wear this armor, you gain a +1 bonus to AC and have advantage on saving throws against frightful presence and breath weapons.
I think he's talking about the version from the Emporium.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Emporium.
You're looking at the Emporium? Okay,
yeah.
I'll go to the Emporium version. I just wanted to make sure that we weren't using the standard one. Okay, let me get Emporium open so I can look this up. You have a page number by chance?
Yep. You'll see a table on page 80. You can also just click on the items. On the table of contents, click on items.
Go here.
You'll see it under uncommon medium armor.
Dragon scale, got it.
Dragon scale medium.
Okay, so I think that's about my normal armor anyways.
What are you currently wearing?
I was wearing breastplate, so it's very similar. Fitted metal pieces worn with supple leather, so this is just replacing the metal with the dragon scale.
Yeah, you'll get the 2 damage type resistances will be the big upgrade with that.
For sure.
Otherwise, it weighs 5 pounds more total, but there will be no other changes. Same AC and still no penalty on stealth.
Is it possible to turn this dragon into just like a strip of green leather? Is that some leather dragon armor?
Yeah, you could do. There's a light dragon scale as well.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yeah. They could make 2 suits of light dragon scale.
They can only make 1 suit of medium armor.
They could do 2 suits of light. They could do 1 suit of medium, or they could do halfway there to a heavy suit. You'd need another Zealot to make the heavy one.
Yeah, another Zealot. Yeah.
And there's nothing then that could be left over from that could be added to another magical suit of armor.
There will be 50 gold pieces worth of emerald dragon scales left over after the medium suit is made.
So for me personally, I would like to get cool dragon armor, but I don't necessarily have a super big preference. I'm not like the one who's usually in the middle of the fight.
What's the best light armor that we can make? Studded light armor, I think, right? That'd be a small downgrade for me in AC.
What's your dexterity modifier?
I have a dex of 16, so I do have a little bit more than what my cap will allow, so that would balance it out. I think I'd go down total by 1 AC.
Yeah, you go down 1 in AC, but gain resistance to fire.
But I would be able to share fire and psychic resist with
Adriel.
Would this just be like studded leather armor?
Yeah.
It would be the same AC as that.
But with the fire resistance.
It's the light,
but with fire and psychic resistance.
Light dragon scale.
Gotcha. It actually. So that I'm gonna say it's up to you, Wallykos. For me, I already have studded leather armor, so like it doesn't change my ACs. But like if you got the other armor, it would increase your AC. So.
I mean, no, it wouldn't increase my AC. It would.
Oh, it wouldn't. Oh, okay.
No, that's the thing. Here's the thing. I would lose 1 point of AC thanks to my dexterity still being a 16. My dex could increase in the future, and then I get that back, or maybe I just enchant it with a +1 armor bonus. You know.
Yep, it's up to you. If you want to do the 2 pieces, then that's.
I would rather do the 2 pieces because resistance to fire is pretty big deal.
It is,
especially considering how much fire giant and fire things that we've had to deal with. That could save both our lives potentially. And I mean, yeah, it sucks I lose a point of AC, but AC is never really... I'm not like in the 20s AC. My AC was like 17, 18, you know? That's what it's going to be now.
All right, so it sounds like you are opting for the 2 suits of light dragon scale, and there will be court armor smiths and leather workers getting to work on that. So it'll be a couple days before those are ready, with them working as fast a pace as they can.
So 50 gold pieces left over. I assume that means like it's not enough to do anything meaningful for an actual effect, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I can't, because I do already have armor of fire resistance. That is nice, but psychic on top of that would have been great. But
I
guess for armoring 2 people instead,
For the 50. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Does this require attunement to the armor? It does not.
Oh, it does not. Oh, that's nice.
That's actually a pretty big deal. Yeah.
As for the 50 gold pieces, I say that Aygir and Vapor, you guys get that, since like we're getting the armor, you guys get the
gold. Wow.
So magnanimous.
50 whole gold pieces.
Hey, that's like potions of healing, you know?
No, that's not even a potion of healing.
All right, so you all are resting. Aygir and Vapor, you went to rest at the Arcane Sanctum?
Yeah.
Correct? Okay. Aygir and Vapor, both of you, I want you to make perception checks.
A great roll.
I'm not exceptionally perceptive at the moment, but I am somewhat. It's been a while since I've looked at this sheet, but that is a... What is that? That's 13.
Okay. 13. Vapor?
11.
Okay. So you all return to the Arcane Sanctum. You're tired. You might be hurt somewhat. And you just crash. And I'm assuming Wallykos and Ava just crash as well. You all complete a long rest, which you're basically sleeping through late afternoon, through part of the night. Wallykos.
Am I also getting a long rest, even though I'm doing the dinner?
Yeah.
So you're trying to sleep, and you probably sent them a letter, like saying something to the effect.
We assume you sent them a page or a bird to tell them
I'm
you're
gonna
going to be showing up late.
I'm gonna be like an hour later, 2 hours later, something now.
Yeah, you're going to be showing up at like 8 or 9 o'clock.
Yep.
So, Wallykos, you are reaching 7th level. Is that my understanding?
That is correct.
What is happening with Wallykos?
So Walykos is gaining a couple things at 7th level. First, he gains another class feature from his archetype, which is called Writhing Tide. As a bonus action, you can condense part of your swarm into a focused mass that lifts you up. You gain a fly speed of 10 feet and can hover. This effect lasts for 1 minute or until you're incapacitated, and you can use it a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest.
Excellent.
So as a bonus action, being able to hover or fly, it's pretty useful, especially in combat. Just hovering out of reach and using, some of my attacks could be tactically very good.
Nice. Did you say that the flying speed is the same as your walking speed?
No, it's 10 feet.
Oh, only 10 feet.
It's only 10 feet, but I can hover, so I don't need to keep moving. Like, I could just float in midair.
Yeah, it's magical flight.
It's really good. That's actually really good. Like, flight without a spell slot or, like, a magic item. Like,
as a bonus action, 3 times currently per day. Yeah. And 1 minute is a pretty significant amount. Like, I know with dashing, I can only get maybe.
I imagine like
200 feet.
I imagine for like effect, like when you do activate your fly, like you get like these white raven wings and like.
Yes, suppose it, like there's all ways I could thematically, but like it is a swarm that is supposed to be bolstering me up, so it's like feathers or the birds themselves are all just
white ravens like surrounding you. Yeah.
Or it could be that like white raven light, right? That kind of like floating celestial light, and you could even have feathers swirling.
I was gonna say I would think that feathers would be involved in some fashion.
Very nice. You also gain another 2nd level spell slot, and you learn an additional spell.
Correct. So I learned an additional spell, and I traded one of my spells. So I traded out Spike Growth. As good as it is, it's very unfortunately situational, and a lot of times the enemies can negate it, that I found. I learned Summon Beast, which is a great 2nd level conjuration spell from Tasha's Cauldron.
Okay.
It gives me basically another ally that acts on my initiative after me, but I don't have to really command it. I don't have to use my own actions on it. It's very versatile. I can create an air creature, a land, or water creature. So it gives me options. And then I also learned Locate Object, because that is a new spell that rangers can take thanks to Tasha's Cauldron.
Oh, okay. So now you've got Locate Object as well. Nice.
Yep. It felt like it's been so useful in this campaign for various little things. I want it. I'll probably trade it out at a later time. But for the moment, it's a tool that can solve problems that we don't have ready access to before now.
Sounds like some great choices.
Yeah.
And Wallykos continues to develop. Somebody else hit 7th level.
Vapor did.
What is happening with Vapor?
Vapor only gains access to 1 level 4 spell slot.
Still
that's all. You've only hit 4th level spells.
4th level spells are nothing, man. That's only what Dimension Door and all kinds of other things.
And speaking of Dimension Door, that is what he picked up.
Oh, it's almost like it's one of the better.
Well, I was looking for all the spells. I'm going, I got a good set of attack, but I don't really have a way to get across.
I think it would be cool if your Dimension Door is like you draw a door of lightning real quick, step through the lightning, and then like lightning cracks wherever you go. Yeah.
A bolt comes down 2 different points.
That was a good sound effect.
Yep, that was.
Yeah.
What about rolling hit points?
About to do that.
Gonna roll my hit points.
D10 Wallykos and D6 Vapor.
May the dice be ever in your favor.
Sorcerer's D6.
Alright, come on.
Put that back then.
Alright, that's a 9. Plus.
Way to take away 2 of his hit points, Esper. Let him roll.
Hey man, it used to be D4.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember those.
Oh, it doesn't
days.
matter. It's the exact same number on both. 3.
Okay.
Just adjust those.
Back in the day, Vapor and Adriel both would have been a D4 hit die class.
Yeah, if you want to go
Wallykos would have
back
been a
even
D6, and Aygir would have
I don't want to hear.
also, in theory, been a D4, actually.
Yeah.
Let's see. So
I think you just would have been considered a magic user, right?
Are there? I know
Well, like
Wizards.
an elf.
Wizards
Is it
D4,
D6?
right? Isn't Wizard D4?
Used to
Or is
be
it
not
in
anymore?
third edition and
Oh,
second.
okay. Okay, so it's D6 now, I'm guessing.
Yep, 5th edition turns
Okay,
to D6.
Gotcha. I always thought it was a
Okay.
D4. But no.
Really, it was
Was in
with
civilized
4th
editions.
edition that the class hit points got a bump up, and that continues on through 5th edition.
All right.
Okay,
Well, my
so-
hit points are set. Yeah.
Wizards should have a D2 for hit
Yeah.
dice.
Oh
50%
my.
chance that you get a hit point or not.
Even commoners have more than that.
All right. Next should be the Storm Tower.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. You all are, that night at the Storm Tower, you've all rested. Duncan Mantevale and Crispin Hallows, they've taken a bit of a rest. And so we'll just cut right to that. You are at the Storm Tower, and 2 weapons have been completed. First, we'll do Wallykos's first. I've got it right here pulled up.
Curious to see which options you've thought up or created something new.
Wallykos, the inspiration for this weapon was particularly meaningful to me. And it was an inspiration that has run strong in my blood since that fateful night. And I know it has been with you as well.
And he
Yes.
hands you a staff. It is an ivory-colored staff carved from fine wood, and the top of it has the shape of a raven's head. It can be used as a magic quarterstaff. You gain a +1 bonus to melee attack and damage rolls with it, and you can use your spellcasting ability for melee attack and damage rolls with it instead of strength. Once per turn, you can deal an additional 1d8 radiant damage to a creature you hit with an attack if you have advantage on the attack roll. You can apply this property to any weapon or spell attack you make as long as the beak of the White Raven is on your person. As an action while holding the staff, you can make a ranged spell attack with it against one creature within 120 feet of you. On a hit, the target takes 2d8 radiant damage, and you gain advantage on the next attack roll you make against the target within 1 minute. I will paste that in our Discord.
Please do. I was like looking. I'm like, I don't think this is one in the Emporium.
It
I
is
recall.
all new and quite custom.
It reminds me of some of the ones in the Emporium, but I do.
It could be, it could have been
Yeah.
an Emporium item, but nope, it's a brand new one that has been custom made.
Raven's Head. Good.
Then to Adriel, he brings a scabbarded sword, a slender and sleek elven short sword. And he says,
Grandson, it is my hope that whatever bad blood has been between us and grudges that you've held towards me
That is
will be put to rest, as we have far, far more dire issues that we must attend to. And I and Crispin have made this for you, along with one of our tower smiths.
and you unsheath the short sword, and it is a splendid, sleek weapon, and it almost has this high keening hum. It almost sings as you move it through the air, and it moves so quickly. It's almost like there's a there's an intuitiveness about the sword that it knows what strikes you want to perform, and it like aids you and makes the cuts and stabs go extra quickly. It is a +1 short sword of speed. Whenever you take the attack action, you can make an additional attack with this short sword.
Fancy.
And it's got +1 hit and damage.
Oh, goodness.
Both those weapons, Wallykos and Adriel's, are attunement weapons.
Fair enough, yeah. Could you post mine also in the Discord as well? If possible?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can.
Thank you so much. I will look to my grandfather and say, I appreciate this greatly, grandfather. I will try and use it as best as I can, and I'll put a hand on his shoulder and say, think nothing more of what happened in the past. We have much more dire things that we must deal with in the future.
I am gladdened more than I can say at hearing you say this to me, grandson.
Yes, we must come together in these times. And then I'll sheath the sword and kind of strap it to my belt.
All right. Give me 1 second. Okay, I slightly misspoke on your weapon, but it's still the same general idea. You gain a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with the short sword. In addition, you can make 1 attack with it as a bonus action on each of your turns. So it's not attack action, it's a bonus action. You can make 1 extra attack.
Sorry, just a quick question with that. So would that mean that like if I use the bonus action with this sword, it would still add in all of my like...
Yeah, you could take attack action
stuff
and bonus action for the extra attack. You
that would count okay,
you could
awesome.
dodge and make a bonus action attack.
Oh wow!
You
okay.
could dash and make a bonus action attack.
Wow.
Yeah, so,
okay. Yeah, that's really useful.
It's actually a standard magic item.
Yeah, no, it's basically like
typically it's a scimitar of
doing,
speed.
Yeah.
I just kind of converted it to a short sword, and it's a +1. The scimitar of
that's
speed's
like,
a +2, and I think it's a very rare.
Yeah, no, this is actually like perfect for me because I've been doing 2-sword style, but like with this one, I can do 2 attacks just like I've been doing, but like adding my ability modifiers and stuff. So it's gonna be really.
Well, how
useful.
would you make a extra attack with your offhand? You
bonus
need your bonus
action.
Yeah, but this takes a bonus action.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's better than doing a bonus action attack.
I understand.
Like,
yeah, so you don't need to have an offhand weapon even.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is true. You add in your ability modifier, and also 2-weapon fighting requires that you use the attack action, whereas this one doesn't. So yeah,
it's just better. It's just
being able
better.
to dodge and make 1 attack actually is really crazy.
It's really good, Esper. Yeah. Cunning action is really good.
It is really good because what you do is you stick them, take the dodge action, and they can't hit you, and you just keep repeating.
and also with my cunning action, like I have so many. This is nice.
Well, your cunning action takes your bonus action.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, but
so you have to
still,
be careful.
you could move,
still,
dodge, and then bonus action sword stab.
But yeah,
which
but the
that's
dodge with it
crazy.
is really good. Yeah.
It's tactically, do you need to be more defensive, or do you just go full offense?
Yeah.
Attack action.
You have
Exactly.
like a really interesting mixture of different tactical options now.
Yeah. This gives me a lot more options, and it's like I already had some, and it's like now I got more. It's like, oh man.
That's what mine does too. Like having a ranged attack that can also give me advantage potentially on my next attack.
Yes, and
That's so
it's
good.
designed to combo with itself.
It does.
Like you can do the kind of staff cantrip basically and get the advantage, and then move in and hit them with the advantage and do the extra radiant.
These are so far. These are some really awesome weapons, Esper. I like it.
This is akin
Nice.
to what Sombras was for me back last campaign.
Yeah,
With being able to turn into a shadow blade
nice.
as a bonus action. Yeah.
Now, Aygir and Vapor, as he explained earlier, partially it's just a matter of time. It takes time to make these weapons. They just haven't gotten to yours yet. And also, Walykos and Adriel have more personal connections with them. They had ready inspiration on what to make. So now they turn their attention to you two. And it's pretty open slate on what they could create. Obviously, there'll be some kind of limitations, but it's pretty wide. I mean, you're basically working with stuff in like the wizard cleric range that covers a lot. And it'd be within rarity. So if you have suggestions, like off the top of your head now, you can tell me those. If not, you can take some time to think about it and just message me between sessions. And we can
I'm gonna have to message you on that.
In character, Aygir has notes. Out of character, I think I probably will as well. Just message between sessions, but
Sure.
I have some ideas.
Cool. So yeah, please do. Both Vince and Adam, just contact me and just let me know. You can either give me some specifics, or you can just say, like what Warsor did, was like, I want something that kind of accomplishes these goals, but I don't know exactly what the specifics of it would be.
I appreciate that. Like, you nailed it, Esper.
Thank you. Oh, I'm glad to hear you say that.
Do you got a question?
Yes.
When they were harvesting the dragon, was Vapor able to get any of the small shards of bone and blood from it?
You could get the blood. Yeah.
Okay.
That is something they could have.
They should
collected.
Spare us enough dragon bone for a weapon handle. I would argue.
That was actually
that
one
can
of
be
the things
arranged.
I was thinking.
Sure.
I was thinking was either a staff or a ring made out of the dragon bone. So I don't know. I'll contact you.
Yeah, keep those things in mind. You could certainly get some dragon's blood and dragon bone for assorted purposes. Dragon's blood typically is like a magical ingredient, like a spell component or a reagent you would use while crafting magic items. And then the bone, would serve as like a handle or a scepter or a wand or a rod or something.
Well, Vapor's thinking of seeing what
you could probably sharpen dragon's bone and make like a knife out of it too, I would imagine, or a club or something.
Well, Vapor wants to experiment with dragon's blood, see what it can do with potions.
Longbow? That makes sense to me. So, I think we're looking at Adriel now, who you are feeling a bit better after resting. Mechanically speaking, the one level of exhaustion is gone, so that's not imposing disadvantage on ability checks. I imagine in character you are still like in pain, and you've probably got like some kind of poultice on you to numb the pain and help with the healing. Maybe some bandages wrapping your side.
Mm-hmm.
So you go to the dinner, is what I am to understand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
I do have a question for that actually. Is there like some specific kind of attire I'm supposed to wear to these sort of events, or do they
formal?
not care?
Oh, certainly formal. Yeah, you'll want to wear
formal,
like your finest velvet doublet and your.
Is a sword
your
allowed
brooch.
though? Like, would that be formal attire? Like, if I had like my formal attire, then like my new elven blade like on my side.
I mean, you're a knight, man. I think wearing a sidearm, like a light blade or short sword or a knife or something, or a mace is pretty typical.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, like kind of. I want to show off my new blade a little bit, you know? Yeah.
All right. So you make your way from the Storm Tower over a couple of districts to Strong Castle, which you're quite familiar with, and many a minor noble and also common folk live in Strong Castle. It's a massive old giant's castle that has been converted into elven dwellings, houses and apartments and such, and there are different tiers to it. And so you actually are at the top tier of Strong Castle. They don't have their own tower. They're not one of the great houses, but they live much more well off than the vast majority of all people. And they have a kind of internal manor home. You could almost think of it like, maybe in modern terms, we would think of it like a large condominium. So it's finely appointed. They have beeswax candles and lamps lit everywhere. There are musicians, minstrels, playing fiddles, and people are dancing and singing and clapping and making merry. And partially it's just because they're having a dinner and it's a feast and it's a merry time, and people are puffing on Zapatene and maybe a bit of dream, and there's spirits are high. Also, it's because of the news of the victory, and it's just clearly spreading like wildfire, the talk of the city that there was a dragon threatening the city, and this dragon has been felled, and some people got to see it, and when you all made this aerial procession into the city, and anyone who saw it, of course, is just boasting and going on about how they saw the gleaming emerald scaled dragon being brought in by a flying ship. So everyone is just abuzz with all that's going on here, and you are welcomed in. Sir Adriel, you have come, and you're given a very warm welcome. Finally, you have arrived. Oh, please, come in.
Of course. My apologies for being so late. I had some things I had to attend to.
This is Clance Honeybeak that you were speaking to here. Clance Honeybeak of Strong Castle is the one who had sent you the letter, and he did also make mention of his daughter in the letter.
I heard that you were wounded in the battle, but you look like you're all in one piece still.
At least partially in one piece.
No scorch marks upon you?
No, nothing like that. It's more covered up right now in my attire. But it definitely did hurt a bit when I got shot by a ballista, but...
You were shot by a what now?
I was shot by a ballista. It was quite... Well, the story's
a
always
blister?
embellished. It's sort of like an arrow, if you want to think of it like that.
Oh, you were arrowed. I am very sorry to hear that, but are you well? You seem to be not limping or gushing blood.
I'm definitely better than I was. Thanks in no part to my comrade Wallykos and my house as well. They bandaged me up quite well.
I see. No, I didn't know that you were shot by an arrow. I thought the dragon had scorched you with fire. That's what I heard.
No. I was not scorched with fire. Luckily, that would have left a few more marks on my body, which I don't want to have happen.
Oh, I see. Well, I guess whoever I spoke to just had the wrong telling of it. As I understood it, belched fire onto you, then Wallykos shot it with an arrow through the neck, and it was unable to breathe its fire as the fire would just escape out of the neck hole, and then Vapor brought it low with a lightning bolt.
Part of that is true. There was a lightning bolt from Vapor. Thankfully, he was able to use his arcane prowess to fell the dragon towards the end, but Wallykos did deal the blow that pushed the dragon down into unconsciousness.
Unbelievable! Incredible! I didn't even know there was such a thing as a live dragon in these parts. Oh my. And then comes Heather Honeybeak, his wife, noble lady, and she's done up in this fine gown with lacy bits and a number of petticoats underneath, and it's got the look where it's all like bosom and hip, and she's all done up with her makeup, and her hair is put up, and she's a lovely middle-aged woman, and she's got on a fine necklace of pearls. Clance, come on, you're keeping Sir Adriel from dinner. Adriel, you must be famished. Come, we have a place prepared for you.
Of course, lead the way. I'm excited for the dinner. I am quite hungry, actually. I haven't eaten much recently.
So she and Clance, they escort you, and you've got this place ready for you, this chair at the head table, and there's a bunch of people eating and smoking and making merry and just, chatting. There are a couple people that are like dancing. It's not a formal dance, but like they're showing some moves to each other. Oh, this is the new dance moves that are coming on in the town. And this is Lord and Lady, and they introduce a bunch of people that are sitting next to you, and names are going in one ear and out the other, and it's like, I've met him before. I've seen him before. I have no idea who that is.
Yeah.
So it's a mixture of people. Some are familiar to you, and others are you really don't know who the heck they are. Mm-hmm. And then you got these seats as a guest of honor, and so you've got like the Clance and Heather Honeybeak next to you, and then next to them is the lovely Aniva Honeybeak, and last but not least, the gem of our family. This is our daughter Neva.
Yeah, I'll take her hand and I'll give it a kiss, and I'll say, "It's a pleasure to meet you, my dear."
The pleasure is all mine, Sir Adriel. Thank you so much for coming. Sit, please do sit. You look you look a bit hungry.
Quite hungry indeed, yes. And I'll take a seat next to yeah.
You sit down, and Avina is a young lady. A beautiful lady. She's a golden-haired elven girl, and she has a kind of liveliness to her eyes, a very engaged presence about her. She seems a sharp one, and quite well-spoken and well-educated, perceptive and on point.
Interesting.
And so you're eating. It's a delicious and merry dinner, and you can have your fill of the various meats and breads and stewed vegetables and sugar crusted loaves and
all the fineries.
All the fine things, and a nice pipe of Zapatene to top it all off if you would like.
Mm-hmm. Of course, yeah. No, I'm definitely not going to smoke enough to get me high or drink enough to get me drunk, but I will partake at least to some degree. Yeah. Sure.
No worries about that. Just puff on the Zapatene, and it's a nice little perk. We liken it to, like an espresso or maybe a double espresso, right? It's a nice little perk. So the dinner it's lovely, and a lot of the people talk to you, and you get a lot of praise. It's a recurring theme in different minor lords and ladies and other not necessarily noble folk of minor noble folk, we would just call them. They give you thanks, and they give you praise, and they tell you they remark upon your knighting and this victory out at, no one can pronounce the names. They just call it like the old giant fortress in the water, the old water fortress out there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely would enjoy talking with them all. I feel like with Clance Honeybeaks, with his kind of introduction of the events, I feel like I'm probably like describing things how they actually happened more so, and I'm probably giving a lot of credit to Wallykos, because like he was the one who did a lot of the stuff, and he did save my life. So I'm kind of giving Wallykos some of the credit that he's due as well. I do specifically not mention Vapor much though. Like I do kind of try and steer that away. I try and make it seem like Wallykos did all of the work, and like him and me did all of the work, rather than like Vapor or Aygir
and the Sky Knights, perhaps.
I do mention the Sky Knights, yeah. I basically mention everyone except for Aygir and Vapor. Like in my retelling of the stories.
Okay, so you downplay those two. All right.
Yeah, I downplay them a little bit, yeah, just a bit.
So yeah, they people eat up your stories, and some of them, they don't even know how to respond to it because it's almost more of a militaristic description, and they can't relate to that very well. But there are some actually that they do seem knowledgeable about military and strategy and history, and that makes much more sense.
What about Aniva? How is she reacting to the stories? Does she seem to be like knowing what's happening, like understanding?
Aniva actually does say something about that. She says, "I've noticed there are a great amount of embellishments of everything that happened. But to hear you tell it, it seems more realistic. There's something that I noticed, and I'm hoping this is not an embellishment, but of all the knights that I've ever seen in Barnacle, you carry a very different style of blade. Am I to assume that you have trained under a different school of swordplay than others, such as, say, Penn Drakestone and the many that follow in his footsteps?"
I'll look at her and give her like a bit of a glance, like, oh, this is not what I expected from a lady, right? Like of the honeybeaks, right? And I'll say, it's quite perceptive, Lady Aniva. Yes, no, I'm not of a traditional sort of swordsmanship. I don't use long swords or great swords. I tend to prefer the lighter weight ones, such as this blade right here. This one's actually a new piece that I've acquired from my grandfather. He made it special for me. It's an elven design, and I'll kind of
it's
like
brilliant.
pull it out. Would you like to see it?
Oh, it would be my honor.
Yep. And I'll kind of stand up and I'll actually like unbuckle it from my belt, and I'll actually give her the blade and say, be careful with it though. It is quite sharp.
Just like this.
Just like this, and I'll actually help her with it. Like I'll assist her in pulling it out. Yeah.
It's so light.
Indeed, I find these short swords
This
much
weighs no more than the knife I used to cut the meat with.
Of course, it's why I prefer them over the more bulky long swords or great swords. They're much more easy to use in combat.
Well, I've never studied combat, and I wouldn't dare to presume to call myself a historian, but I have read a lot of different tales, fantastical tales even, tales of heroes and adventures. This looks like the blade of a swashbuckler.
It is very similar to one, yes. I do take much of my swordplay from the swashbuckling sort of route. It's what I prefer, at least. It works for me. And I'll sort of help her put it back into the to the scabbard, I guess.
Well, I haven't cut any fingers off, so good for that.
Yes, indeed. You do seem quite knowledgeable of these militaristic endeavors, though. Have you been reading?
No. I know very little about such things. I mean, just standard lessons. But I like to read. It's one of my favorite pastimes. I think you can learn a lot from books. Even the books that are, some people might say, fiction, that aren't real. I think sometimes they have the most real lessons and the most real characters in them.
Oh, I
if you
agree.
read a history book, the people are simply trying to prove facts. But if I read a tale of a hero, I get to know what's in the hero's head, what's in the character's heart. It's a much more personable experience.
I completely agree with you, and I think in any story, in any myth or any fable, there's always a grain of truth to be found as well. Knowledge is power, my dear.
Well, I'm going to continue with my studies, and if all goes as intended, I will be Chamberlain to the Duchess here within, well, a decade or less.
Well, perhaps it should be less. You seem to be a very bright and intelligent woman.
Well, her current Chamberlain is a capable woman, but, you know, she's getting on in years, and she's very stuck in an outdated mode that well, you see how poorly the communications have broken down between Drake Stone and the loyalists to the Merocrats. It's like they're speaking two different languages. One's an old and outdated language, and, well, not that I would want to abandon our families or our values, but to be able to communicate in a way that makes more sense to people, I think, is a much better strategy.
I completely agree with you. Well, I'll call it what I see it as, a civil war happening in Barnacle is just unacceptable. I find it to be ridiculous that people can't see eye to eye and work towards the common goal of, well, civility and rights and working towards protecting the people rather than fighting amongst themselves. It's quite barbaric, if I may.
Right, well, it's like if people could just learn to actually talk about things more, they wouldn't have so many misunderstandings and make so many presumptions about one another, and that would solve probably most of all the problems.
I completely agree with you. Talking, unfortunately, though, is not what many nobles and people with power like to do, and sometimes, well, you must use the force of the power that you wield to bring order back into the society.
Well, I would say this. If I was the Duchess of the city, I would do things very differently. Well, maybe this is something that you would think was rather foolish, but I would put a system in place where everyone has the right to do whatever they want. It doesn't matter if you're a noble or not. It applies the same to everyone. You can do anything you want to do. But if the thing you do ends up hurting somebody, then they can take you to the court, and you'll have to prove that what you did was within the common law of the good of all the folk. And if you can't prove it, then you will suffer the consequences. But it has to begin with all the people getting the same common ability and openness. There needs to be a
rule of law, essentially, for everyone.
Instead of the Duke and him getting decrees from the king and Terra Morgana, Barnacle itself is our own independent and free state, and all the people share the rights with an open trade. Oh, I'm afraid I haven't expressed myself very well. Maybe I'll write it down, and I could explain it better in word.
Well, I think that you've explained yourself quite well. I tend to agree with you. I find it very unfortunate that those in power are sometimes above the law, and I think that is absurd. The common people and the nobles should be held accountable for the same actions that they commit. Everyone should be under the same rule of law. How can you have order? How can you have a sustainable society if some people are able to get away with things that others are not able to get away with? It's unacceptable.
Yeah, and who's to say what the Duke or his closest advisors get away with that we don't even know about?
No,
I mean, you've been close to him recently. Have you noticed anything, or does he seem like he's a just man, a good man?
I kind of look down a bit and smile, and I look back to her and say, well, I have my opinions of the Duke, but I don't know if I can speak of the things that we've discussed. It's more of a private affair, but perhaps one day I can speak truly and honestly with everyone.
I hope so as well. So do you think that there's truly some kind of impending disaster coming in Barnacle, or do you think that that's been been dealt with now that you've defeated the dragon?
I kind of give her a sigh, and I look to her and I say, truthfully, I do believe that although what we did at the stronghold set back these forces, these invasions somewhat, I don't think that we're finished yet. I doubt that we've dealt with all of our enemies, but it was a severe blow to our enemy. Never lose faith in us, though. We are trying our best, and we will get rid of the enemies as swiftly and as soon as possible.
I feel hopeful. I think between the Sky Knights and then your vanguard, and if we can get the sides to be able to talk to each other, who could be able to take us on? Who could defeat Barnacle?
I completely agree with you, and if I may, I mentioned this earlier, but you are quite the intelligent one. You should look into perhaps doing more than just being a chamberlain. I think that your ideas could be of great use.
Oh, do you think so? Thank you.
I do.
Well, all in due time. It's not like it's exactly very easy for someone like me to just climb up the steps to the throne. You know, I mean, I could never be Duchess, for example, but well, I'm gonna do everything I can to make the biggest difference that I can.
I think that with your mind and your willingness to change the city into a better city will be all that you need to climb, and I'm happy to help you in any way I can.
Oh, that would be lovely. Thank you so much. And she gives you that a look with like a twinkle in her eye, and there's something else on her lips. She's about to say it, and then her mother, Heather Honeybeak, arrives. And, darling, are you getting along well with Sir Adriel?
Oh, sorry. I thought
and Adriel's just kind of like stunned there. Apparently so. Adriel, Clance said he wanted to speak with you. I believe he's in the solar. Would you like me to show you there? I can do it. Great. Volunteers Aniva.
I'll look to Aniva and say that'd be wonderful as well. Please lead the way, Aniva.
All right. So she, like takes your arm, she kind of like walks with you, and you go through this corridor that has, nice art objects and paintings on the wall.
While we're walking as well, just to like a little bit of like what Adriel's thinking, like Adriel's never really been like super interested in women or like doing that kind of thing. Like he's always been focused on himself and just like what his goals are. But Aniva actually seems to be very similar mindset of him. So like he is getting a slight interest in this girl because like her intelligence, her willingness to want to change the city.
She seems like an eager soul.
Yeah, exactly. So
she continues to chat with you. She's warms up to you pretty well, and you go through this nice corridor. You also see some of the house guards that they have. It's not like Mantevale Storm Tower where you have a lot of guards and they're highly trained, but you do make note, like, okay, they do have some protection here, and they seem like capable men-at-arms. And she takes you to the solar where Clance, Honeybeak, and a few other noblemen are speaking. Oh, gentlemen, I was needing to have a word in private with Sir Adriel. Would you excuse us? And the other two noblemen, yeah, of course, and they go back with Aniva as well. I'll speak to you later. It was lovely making your acquaintance, Sir Adriel.
Yes, I do hope that we can speak more later, perhaps more privately as well.
Oh, I would love that. And she, gives you a curtsy and a little grin, and they go back to the Great Hall. So here you are in the solar, a nice, well-appointed sitting room, and there's a hearth in there, and bookshelves. And as soon as the door shuts, Clance looks nervous.
Yeah. Something wrong, Clance.
Adriel, I've been waiting and waiting for the other guest of honor to arrive. He has yet to come. I haven't heard anything from him. Have you had word from Zelex?
I'll take a seat, like assuming he's sitting. And I'll say, I do have some sort of information, but I would like to know more of what is this meeting about.
Well, about the preparations. I am under the understanding that you and Zelex were wanting me to continue with the wine aging well in the cellar.
I think that there may be a few setbacks on this, unfortunately. Zelex is dead.
What? No.
No, I know for a fact that he's dead.
Where? How?
Well, before I go on, are you actually trustworthy? Because it seems as though Zelex was the main force in this operation.
Am I trustworthy? I sent you the letter. You read the message, did you not? I mean, the message?
Yes. The thing, though, is that I was expecting to be able to talk with Belvandor himself here. Is that possible?
Well, if Zelex is dead, I'm sure that Vondor's going to be speaking with you and myself directly any moment now. How could this have happened?
There was a raid on the stronghold. I'm sure that you remember us bringing in the Emerald Dragon and the airships.
I had some questions about that.
The Emerald Dragon was Zelex, Clance.
Are we speaking of the same person? Zelex is an elf?
It seems as though you have less information here. Perhaps it's best if we wait until Belvandor contacts us for more.
But what of the Merocrats? Without the Magister of the Common Wing to orchestrate the second movement of the symphony. What? I don't know. Everything is completely just gone awry now if Zelex is dead.
I think it's best if you tell me more about this plan in detail, and I should be able to carry out whatever plans that Zelex had.
I don't like this, Adriel. I don't like this at all. This makes me incredibly nervous. Oh my. Oh dear.
I'm gonna kind of stand up and walk over to him and just glare down at him and say, Plants, there's no need to be nervous. We have to proceed with whatever plans there were, but I need to know in detail what Zelex was doing so that we can proceed.
You don't know?
No,
you don't
unfortunately
know about
I don't.
The three movements of the symphony?
I'll just shake my head because I don't know. I say no, I don't know about this. Zelex and Belvandor, for some odd reason, happen to not inform me of any of these plans.
Well, Zelex was supposed to be the main one speaking with you here this evening. But if he's dead, I don't know if I should be saying anything else to you. You don't know. Oh my. Adriel, where do your loyalties lie? Are you truly in league with this upstart vanguard motley band who seeks to change the very fabric of Ayrberg? Or are you with the true rulers of this isle?
I am with Belvandor, Clance. That is where my allegiances lie. And if you question that for a second, well, then I'm sure that he will gladly find someone to replace you.
I think this conversation has gone on quite long enough. I'm going to excuse myself now. And he gets up from the... Yeah, he goes to get up from the plush armchair that he's in.
I will grab him and push him back down into the armchair.
Don't unhand me!
Unhand you? No. The plan must continue. We are not going to leave this room until you tell me what is going on. Because without me, nothing good will come of this. The Vanguard is searching right now the city, trying to find the the crackle powder. This is happening right now. Zelix is dead. The stronghold has been raided. Without me able to prevent the Vanguard from getting the information and the clues they have, everything will go wrong. Everything will crumble.
I don't know. We need to speak to Belvander. I'm not sure what to think or who to trust.
Can we speak to him now, then?
Well, Zelix is the one who I have direct contact with, that I speak with in person. Vander's distant. He sends out his words as he pleases at the times he chooses. But, well, that could be any time now.
See,
how did Zelix die?
Oh goodness.
He can move about invisibly. He can project into people's minds. He speaks multiple languages. He has ways of movement that mystify me. He's I don't know what to call him. One of the magi of old.
Zelix's death is the way Zelix died is not really of your concern, now is it? He is dead. That is all that matters.
A grim and somber look has overtaken Clance Honeybeak. I think we should not speak of this any further until we have had word from Belvander. I'm going to go back out there and put on a smiling face and entertain my guests. And hopefully this is just a small stumbling block in the plan, and the symphony will continue on into the third glorious movement and have its crescendo and its climax, and all will be made right.
You're not losing your loyalties, are you?
I know where my loyalties lie. They lie to the true rulers of Ayrberg, not these farcical usurpers.
I agree with you, but I had to be sure. Because this is a big blow to the plans. I want to be sure that you're going to remain strong and loyal.
I have staked my very life on this. I would not just throw it away.
Good. Then we shall wait for Belvandor's orders then, I suppose.
Listen, Adriel. We'll go back out. No one has to know. We'll carry on with this dinner and we'll wait for Vander. He will know what to do. He is a very, very resourceful one.
and he has not let me down in all the years of our arrangement.
I'll kind of give him a nod and, kind of back up a little bit so that I'm not, on top of him anymore. And I'll say, I think that would be best. But, again, if you could give me any information, the more I know, the better. Because the Vanguard, the Duke, the Merocrats, they are potentially going to be coming together now. There might not be this civil war anymore. Very soon, very shortly. They are going to most likely be working together. I need information so that I can handle this situation. Anything.
I don't know. This changes everything. I can't think of anything just now at the moment, Adriel. We'll wait for Belvander, and then we'll speak further.
I'll just give a big sigh and say...
He straightens out his clothes and kind of recomposes himself. Takes a puff of a nice hit of dream. Okay. Sprays a little bit of mint water in his mouth.
I just kind of shake my head, and I will comment, say, I don't know what Belvander sees in you.
Well, you hardly know, Adriel, until I know exactly where we stand with everything. I can't reveal anymore. So you come at something of an impasse. Clearly, he knows more than you do, but he is sensing that you actually haven't made it past your proving yet. And Zelix was supposed to be the one working with you directly. But Zelix is dead, and Zelix is tied to whatever 3-part symphony that they are orchestrating that's supposed to be moving into the second movement. But
there's a lot of issues now. Because of
there are complications now. And I think you and Clance have similar perspective of each other. You don't know what to think about the other. And if you can completely trust them, it's a mixed feeling. But you recompose yourselves and you go back out to the party, and it seems like everyone's just continuing to have a grand evening. And it doesn't seem like anyone else here actually is knowledgeable. I mean, no one's talking about. If they are, no one's talking about it. No one's over Belvander loyalist us, it's they seem to be celebrating in a victory for Barnacle with this battle.
I'll I guess for the remainder of the evening, I would probably spend most of my time actually with Aniva and talking with her and just learning more about her, because she did pique my interest, because her wanting to change the city and wanting to set up a rule of law and nobles and commoners being the same, that's very similar to Adriel's ambitions as well, So
that's Adriel's ideal setup.
Of course. Of course, Adriel. Adriel would be at the top, but he would basically keep everything equal, under the law, right? If they break the law, then even if it's a noble, right? So.
You continue on the evening, and if you want, you can chat more with Aniva, and get to know her some more. She's, like you said, you have an affinity for each other. You both have an eagerness to you, and these notions and ideas of how you wish things could be better. And she's very, very lovely young lady as well. So that of course is the icing on the cake. And again, some of the nobles they speak with you. Eventually, it wears on. The evening, wears on, and people get tired, and they retire back to their homes, and you, I assume, go back to the Storm Tower.
Yeah. I'd probably unless they ask me to stay, but yeah, I would probably go back to the storm tower.
No one asks you to stay, though they, give you, all the pleasantries and say goodbye in 100 different ways. And Aniva, gives you her hand once again. And she's kind of like gives you that look like, aren't you gonna kiss my hand?
Yeah. And I would take it and give it a kiss. And I'll look to Aniva and say, I hope to that we can meet again soon. It was very pleasant talking with you this evening.
It was an absolute dream. And she gives you this like nice smile and just like perfect, straight, perfectly aligned, beautiful, pearly white teeth. And just like the image of the proper, lovely, well-educated, noble lady, but not without her ambitions.
Mm-hmm.
And you return home. Let me turn down this.
By the way, the music was just great.
Okay, cool. Hopefully it wasn't too loud. Alright.
The silence as Adriel walks back to the storm castle, like considering everything that's going on. Or storm tower, sorry.
That's when the assassins strike.
Before reaching the outer wall and gate of the grounds of the storm tower, there on the darkened streets of Barnacle
Feeding back
at
a
night.
tiny bit there, sorry.
What's that?
I think it was you over there were feeding back just a little bit with the music starting. It's good now.
Oh, does it sound better now?
Yeah.
Before you reach the outer wall and the gate that leads into the grounds of the storm tower, and specifically the Rook Tower, which is the, in the storm tower district where your immediate family dwells. There, on the darkened streets of Barnacle at night, a voice comes to you. Deep, gravelly, vast, and mighty.
Adriel, I need to speak with you. Go to the final chamber.
Clearly, he refers to the final chamber of the gauntlet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll respond, I guess, in my head and say, I think it's best that we spoke, yes. I'll go at once.
I don't want to interrupt the scene. I just want to make sure we know where everyone is while this is going down.
Very good point, yeah.
Yep. So let's check in then. Yeah, we could jump to a different character if there's something else.
Just to confirm, while that's all happening, Aygir and Vapor were at the underground base.
Yep.
So they're kind of in that vicinity.
Right.
That's why it's important, yeah.
He's going to be passing by them, not directly going to them, but passing close to them. And I had something I wanted to do for Wallykos. I don't think it will put me in Adriel's path, but I don't know what.
No, it's relevant because, if I pass by any of the vanguard, right?
I know what Aygir is doing. He's active down there. He's basically going around and just looking over the place to make sure that
this is not
everything
to
is as
entrap Adriel at all. Just to be clear, this is just a
no. It's fair. It's relevant. Yo.
Yeah, no, Aygir definitely. I mean, he has basically two plans right now, which he needs to talk to Kana Spindle at some point to figure out how the airship works, but also, he's just going around the Arcane Sanctum. It's been a long time since we've been there. He's checking to make sure everything is as we left it, and just going around, maybe getting up to some stuff. We do have 50 gold pieces worth of dragon scale, so he's probably fashioning some sort of accoutrement for him and Vapor wear. Just some
had a
nice
full
little
rest,
thing.
so you can work all night long.
Exactly.
Anyways, Wallykos, Esper, was Corgain, was he in town? Was there some way that I was going to get a hold of him after we got back?
Yeah.
I think that's what...
I believe you were supposed to speak with Corgain and Arachno after coming back.
Where would we have that meeting? And that's kind of what I was thinking Wallykos would do. It could be at the near the tunnels, the collapsed, halls, or it could be in the city. I'm willing to leave it up to fate or to your decision, Esper.
It seems like the entire party would be speaking with Corgain and Arachno.
Okay.
It seems a little odd that it would only be Wallykos.
Then we can save that scene. Don't worry about that. I was just thinking Wallykos would be...
I do have something that maybe could be just with Wallykos, but it's just this one thing, and then it would go on to meet with all of the party.
Sure. What do you want to do? I'm fine with continuing with Adriel. I just think Wallykos wouldn't be at the Storm Tower. He'd be off doing some stuff. Is kind of how I see Wallykos after he finishes sleeping. And Adriel's at a party, so he's not able to get Adriel. So
here's what makes most sense to me, and you guys can tell me otherwise if you think something else fits better. But it seems like Adriel probably goes immediately, like here in the middle of the night, and speaks with Belvander at the final chamber.
Sure.
And then the next day, the whole party speaks with Corgain, Makel, and Arachno together. So all 6 of you together.
Okay. I thought that, I was kind of...
Does that make sense to everyone else too?
Yeah. Well, Vapor, Aygir.
Cool.
Yes, Aygir stuff.
Yeah, that would probably work. I would think Vapor's probably experimenting on potions or
sure.
Music.
So Adriel, you slip into the you go through the crumble, you slip into the arcane sanctum, and Vapor and Aygir, they're working in the workshop area, and you don't go that way, and you go down south through the tunnels into the ruined fire dungeon, let's call it, and then down into the gauntlet, and you've currently have all the traps and hazards defeated. I think that standing stone, the general impression was that it still could get triggered again. Just don't go and mess with it, and don't mess with it. We'll just leave it at that.
Basically, don't do anything that I know is going to cause problems for me.
Yeah, don't go up to it and like, hey, are you in there? Yeah. So, you go through the resolved gauntlet, and you make your way into the final chamber, which has a roughly circular shape to it, and there were the 3 slabs with the images or the engravings of the 3 Balin, the 3 original Balin that ruled Eaberg, or at least that ruled in the prior age, is what I should say. And with the activating stones or activating tiles, are you activating the Belvander?
I will indeed, yeah.
Portal? Okay.
Hopefully I'm not smited by my giant master.
Well, it will depend entirely on how convincing you are.
A shadowy figure in full armor, complete with masked helm, with upraising horns and eyes like a blazing furnace, limbed and in the same type of flare appears, and almost like an image you would see in a looking glass.
Adriel, Zelex is dead. The vanguard slew him, and you aided them.
He through the magic image, he glares at you, and you feel an awful sense of dread bearing upon you.
Yeah, I'll kind of get down like on one knee a bit and like kind of put my head down and say, that is the truth of it.
You were tasked with aiding Zelex in defeating the knights and these self-styled magi.
Well,
you have failed. Not only have you failed, you have aided the enemy.
I told Zelex that this was not a good time to fight the vanguard or the knights. We would have lost whether I aided him or not, and then you would have lost myself and Zelex.
You doubt so much the abilities of our forces? Your own abilities?
I do not doubt the ability of our forces, but I did doubt them in that instance. Zelex and the airships and the dwarves all lost because of the vanguard. I only slightly aided in this. If I had joined forces with Zelex, myself and he would have died. I promise you this.
Adriel,
If I were,
I would
if
like
I
you to
were,
make. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, if I were lying to you, why would I show up now and accept any punishment you have to give on to me?
I would like Adriel to make a charisma persuasion check.
Alright.
Just putting this out here, everybody has inspiration at the moment.
I was about to say I'm gonna use it.
Yeah, and I will say this, if the whole session passes, whoever like never really had an opportunity to use it, you can keep it. We can just kind of let it ride for another session. It's fine.
Alright. That's a 22, Esper.
A 22, okay.
22.
So you make your points and you say that.
Yeah, and my head's like bowed, like, and I'm on like one knee. Yeah.
Am I to understand it that we have misjudged and underestimated the vanguard?
And I will look up at this point and say, you have misjudged them. You think of the vanguard as weaklings. You think of Aygir and Vapor and Wallykos as just useless and insignificant. But I implore you to not underestimate them. I have traveled with them, I have fought with them, I have bled with them, and they are powerful. Vapor calls on lightning as if it were his own, with his own command, any way that he desires. Wallykos has lost his affliction and gained new powers through the White Raven, and Aygir has engineering prowess and intellect that I have yet to see from any other. These vanguard are powerful, and they grow in strength every day, every minute, every second. Do not underestimate them, as Zelex has.
Then we must adjust our perceptions of this vanguard and take new measures to make sure that the usurpers and the pretenders are dethroned. It will not be long before the host of Grootvatters descends upon Barnacle. We need that initial landing to happen and not be turned or routed or any other such calamity.
If I may, Belvondor.
This is already a terrible setback, and it will cost many lives when we storm Holmes Gate.
Yes, if I may. You have kept me in the dark on many of your plans, which has, as you have seen, caused problems. If I were more privy to these situations and these endeavors, I could assist more easily. As you know, I'm not a knight who goes into battle and tries to attack forefront. I'm a simple rogue. I backstab, I deceive. The Merocrats and the Drakestone may be coming to an alliance very shortly. They're having a meeting. Perhaps we could do something there.
I'd like you to make another charisma persuasion check.
Oh god, okay. Come on. Oh, thank god. My 3D dice roll, it almost rolled to a 3, but it's a 20. Unnatural 20. Whew.
We must act swiftly and decisively. You are still somewhat in the dark, as you have not yet proven yourself.
Then let me prove myself.
We will find a way for you to do this, and simultaneously advance our goals, and utilize your strengths and particular skill set in doing so. If you succeed, you will be rewarded, Adriel.
What must I do?
Once Eoberg is retaken, we will need an elven governor. I will need someone to act as a face of the common folk of Eoberg, to be allied with the rightful giants who control this land, and to be envoy and advocate for the elven people and their mixed-blooded offspring such as yourself. You are uniquely suited to be this governor of Eoberg, Adriel. Regent and mighty steward who answers only to me. Others answer to you. I see that you have a new weapon.
I'll look down and I will pull the weapon out and kind of hold it up so that he can see it. I'll say, yes, my grandfather crafted an elven blade for me. It is nothing compared to
a competent enough blade. It will serve you for the time being. But it is not Death Sting.
No, it is not the blade that I desired. Unfortunately, Vapor and my grandfather destroyed that one.
Well, then we will have to do something about this. I will put to you this task that will accomplish that which we need to accomplish. Make your way to the main tower, that which is called Storm. Obtain the information as to where the fragments of Death Sting were hidden. Where did they put them? Collect them, if you can. Upon retaking Eoberg, I will forge the blade anew and gift it to you. A weapon fit for a true ruler. But there is more, Adriel, much more. Do whatever you must do to extract this information as to where the fragments are hidden. And slay Duncan Mantevale and his tower wizard, Crispin Hallows. Assassinate them.
As you command, Belvandor, is there a time frame in which this needs to be accomplished for my grandfather and Crispin to be killed?
As quickly as possible. The fire galleons and flying constructs have already departed Grootvadas. They are en route to Eoberg now.
Very well. And what of this meetings of the Merocrats and the Drakestone?
Set up the Merocrats as the assassins.
That will be difficult, but I think that I can accomplish this.
Do whatever you need to do, Adriel.
Of course, Belvandor, of course.
We have been delivered a terrible setback at Tatsiniatsat. And thus we must act with utmost efficiency, killing multiple birds with each sling bullet that we fire.
Indeed, it was a great setback, as Clance informed me.
It was terribly difficult to develop the alliance with that dragon.
Well, if I may, I believe that I will prove much more useful than he was. I have much more sway in Barnacle than Zelix had, and I can get close to my grandfather and Crispin Hallows. I should be able to assassinate them.
I will tell Zelix's son to stay his revenge upon you for the time being.
If I may, and I'll kind of get a little bit more confident in my posture. The one who killed Zelix was Vapor. Perhaps his revenge would be best taken upon him. He dealt the final blow.
I will tell him that. And this Vapor, does he breathe water as readily as air? Is that what I'm to understand?
He does. It's one of the reasons why he was able to bring back the corpse of Zelix and gain more information from the remains of the ships.
Then he will not be drowned.
He is formidable.
His doom will come elsewise.
Yes. He is formidable, though. Although we do not see eye to eye, I cannot take away from his strength. Be aware.
Zelix's son is quite ingenious. He will find a way.
If he requires assistance, I'm happy to oblige.
Well, I will tell him not to seek revenge upon you for the time being. That is as much as we could expect. What of the sending stone from Fat Dame?
Crispin... Crispin does have it, right? I believe it was Crispin Hallows. Okay, yeah. Crispin Hallows is the one who has the sending stone at the moment. They are waiting to see if someone speaks into the sending stone so that we may gain more information, or they may gain more information. But we are not going to use it at the moment.
That is plenty enough for one meeting. I will send to you again soon.
I look forward to it, Havandor. I will get onto my task as soon as I can.
Before you go. The remaining agents that I have readily at hand there in Barnacle.
Clance Honeybeak, Wormbait, and Jib. Wormbait is away presently. There are 2 points of contact. Jib, Clance Honeybeak.
Out of character,
Trust
we're
in
having
what
a
they
Klein.
say.
With Jib and Wumbait.
Klein is dead as well. Yeah, you guys killed Klein and Zelix in that battle.
Klein was the Hobgoblin, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
With Jib and Wumbait, I don't know who these two are. How can I find them if I need their assistance?
Jib is Zelix's son. You saw him piloting the submergible vessel. I will leave it up to him to reveal his true name to you if he sees fit. Wormbait is a dwarf. That is all for now.
I understand.
So quickly recapping things, because a lot got covered there. You have successfully pleaded your case to Belvander, and he has come to understand that there was some miscalculations, and that even though you were involved in that fight, you weren't really helping the vanguard. You weren't, like, you were acting like you were shooting, but you really weren't taking shots. They were like you were missing intentionally. And you basically convinced him that you judged it as a hopeless situation, that it was miscalculated, and this was the only thing you could do to cut the losses. And you seem to kind of like, okay, I'll give you one more chance, essentially. He's understood what you have said. And he has said that now that you have a big setback, everything you do now has to be like very efficient, like killing 2 birds with 1 stone or more. So he gave you a very tall order, which is to find out through whatever means where the fragments of Death Sting are, assassinate your grandfather in Crispin Hollows, making it look like the Merocrats.
I know, it's very hard. Like, no, I agreed to it, but like out of character and in character, Adriel's probably like, oh no, this is like almost impossible. Like, this is gonna be hard, if not impossible.
I know. So, Noxaqual can pull it off, but let's see if Adriel.
If you prove yourself, he is going to bring you into a kind of inner circle of information. But he has told you some pieces of major information, including that the Fire Galleons have already left Grootviders. They're en routes for the invasion to what they consider to be retaking their land, which, in a neutral, objective sense, it was originally a giant's nation. The elves.
Yeah, they just enslaved the dwarves and the elves.
Right.
The
elves came through conquest, but the elves and giants in the larger world had been at war with each other since time immemorial. Okay, so his pledge or his word is that once the giants retake Eoberg, they're not just going to genocide the elves. They're going to keep the elves there, and they're going to appoint you as the elven governor, like the elven chancellor or whatever.
Yeah. Like I basically I essentially would be speaking for Belvander,
And essentially you would govern the elves.
Yeah.
And you would report to Belvander, but it wouldn't be like, oh, we're just gonna, throw all the elves into a dungeon or into a meat grinder and just eradicate them. And not only will you be appointed governor, he will also reforge Death Sting with the fragments and gift you that, which is a legendary magic sword.
Yeah, Vapor, you took my weapon away from me.
He has also told you that Zelix was the only true dragon they had on all of their side, though they do have Zelix's son on their side. But it sounds like Zelix's son is not a full dragon.
Just a half dragon.
Sounds
And
like
he didn't li- and he didn't-
he's a half dragon, and he's the one that
he-
was piloting the submarine.
Yeah, and he didn't like me much, but now that I've told him that Vapor was actually the one who killed his father,
Yeah, so you're trying to shunt the revenge onto Vapor, which
Essentially,
that could possibly
So-
work. Yeah.
sorry, Vapor, sorry.
Here's the
Oh no,
only-
I knew that was coming at some point.
Here's the
I knew
biggest
you were gonna
problem.
shun it onto me somehow.
Here's the biggest problem I see with that. Wasn't he watching as Wallykos shot his father down? Like,
True. Yeah. This is another thing actually. So,
remember,
so, yeah,
I was out
Adriel-
above
I know.
the water. I went
Yeah.
so I could
No,
see the bridge.
This is important, yeah, because Adriel knows that Wallykos did shoot down Zelix, but he doesn't want Wallykos to be in the revenge site still. Like he still cares for
Well,
Wallykos, so
You don't have any control over what's
No, I
already
know.
been seen and what's
I'm
been done.
aware, but
Yeah.
Adriel is trying to protect Wallykos by sort of saying like, well,
Oh, yeah,
Wa-
try
like,
and blame
Wallykos,
Vapor.
Wallykos shot him down, but Vapor actually did the final blow. Like Vapor was the one who actually ended the
It was a
life,
team effort. Yes.
Was there any other?
Anyways.
Oh yeah, and then the other points were that Zelix and Klein are both eradicated. So the only, and the Night Stalker as well. Gotta put him in there too. So the only two like direct agents of Belvander that are in Barnacle right now are Wormbait and Jib.
Wormbait's out
Wormbait
of
is
town.
actually on a ship, but
Yeah.
the
So
idea is that it'll
Jib
come
and-
back to
yeah.
Barnacle.
Jib,
Understood.
And then
Clance,
Jib
Wormbait.
is the pseudonym of Zelix's son, this half emerald
Half
dragon.
dragon.
Yeah.
And then
He's a
Clance
dwarf,
as well.
half dwarf.
Clance Honeybeak is
And
also.
Clance Honeybeak. That's true. Sorry. Clance Honeybeak. So those three.
Yep.
He didn't mention anyone else in Clance Honeybeak's household. So that's kind of left unknown. You're not quite
Yep.
sure.
Well, of course, he's not going to tell you everything. Like, I would be highly surprised if that was every last agent of his.
No,
I would
it's
keep
probably-
one
yeah.
back.
Yeah, just
That
in
you
case.
shouldn't know.
Just in
Yeah.
case, yeah.
If I
Always-
was Belvander.
Yeah. Well, I guess Adriel will probably head back to his home and take a very long sleep. Take a very long rest.
The dawn of the following morning comes. Wallykos is up before everyone else. You rested a lot and you fell asleep early. And you are visited by, well, at first, what seems to be a pretty unassuming page at the door. Ginteljar, sends word to Tunipa, and Tunipa comes up to you and, there's a page at the door for you. And you go down and there's like a young elven man at the door, and as soon as everyone else is at earshot, his voice changes to the voice of Corgain Makel, and
Always amazing to see how well you are at disguising yourself.
let's take a walk, Wallykos, before we meet with the others. There's
Sure.
a couple things I want to say to you personally.
Let me just tell Ginteljar to have Adriel meet us at the place.
Yes, we'll
When he
have
wakes.
him
He's
meet us at
sleeping
the
in.
sanctum.
He had a late night. So, anyways, I give Ginteljar the message. Wallykos is going for a walk. He'll meet with him later at the secret code name for our underground little base.
Excellent.
Okay, and then I go
And-
on a walk.
Well, first I must congratulate you for your decisive victory at Tastanietsat.
It was a close thing. I honestly thought we were going to lose. If one small person had, one more person had been on their side, I feel it would have changed the entire fight to in their favor. Or one less person on our side.
I can only imagine that it must have been a harrowing battle, and
Can't even.
I
Yeah.
debated finding a way to join you there. But the day might come where I will have to fight by the vanguard side, and I am preparing for that.
Well, I show him my new staff. I guess I've had it with me, and it's kind of hard to conceal a staff.
Sure.
It doesn't.
Yeah, he comments on that. And he also asks about the battle, and that's kind of the first thing. And we can. Whoops, we just lost somebody.
Adriel. We lost Adriel.
We lost Adriel. Okay.
Maybe he accidentally closed his thing. He said he had to step away for a moment, but I don't think he meant to close his call.
So he gets the breakdown of the battle from you and gets the facts from you so that he can have a accurate understanding of what all happened there. And you inform him that Zelix was defeated and that Zelix was actually an emerald dragon.
Yep. We took these airships. One of them you probably saw. We brought back. There were dwarves, prisoners. We also had Hobgoblin or something. Yeah, Hobgoblin that we fought. So, it was a big deal, and we found plans. I tell him about the plans for the invasion.
So it is happening.
We think so. We've already let the Duke. We let the Duke know. The Merocrats. We're going to try to settle things with them today, tonight, rather, I should say. Yeah. So.
I had hoped that this would be a event that would occur a bit farther out in time, or not even at all. But if that is the reality of it, then we must accept that.
We still need to figure out what was done with the crackle powder. It's still in play. It's still a threat. I don't think that Bale Vonder's plans have been completely dismantled by killing Zelix. Oh,
No, I think not. I think this was one step towards our victory, and a necessary step, but the worst fighting is yet to come. If they are planning a large-scale attack, then we are going to need support not only of both Drakestone and Merocrat, but we will need support from Terra Morgana. We will need to send word to the mainland, and immediately.
Well, the Duke has that in hand. I'm sure he's already considered the invasion of this scale is not something you want to face alone, when there's allies that will come to his aid if he calls.
Well, a great storm is coming of some variety, and there is much uncertainty, and I do not know what all will happen, but I am already accepting the fact that likely there will be direct combat here in Barnacle, here in Haven Isle, and I will need to do my part. And I will be arranging whatever other allies that I can muster.
Well,
there is one that he is very stubborn, and I have been unable to convince him, but I have not given up hope. And if he can be rallied onto our side, would be a good ally.
Who is that?
He is a dragon.
So
He is from the western regions of Haven Isle. And
what sort of dragon, if I may ask?
Topaz.
A gem dragon. Okay, I'm not super familiar with dragons, so is that one of the? What is he like? What is his motivations and personality?
Oh, I actually don't like him very much. He is not a very likable fellow, but he hates giants, as do all of us.
I expect he's quite, he's probably lived quite a long time. He probably knows. Won't dragons live a long time? Yeah.
No, he is not as old as others of our kind, but he would be a formidable ally for us to have. At least a common enemy of our enemy.
Okay. Well, you're going to take point on getting him convinced, I assume. We don't have...
I will be making my way to his cave as soon as I wrap up with the meeting today with you all and Arachno.
I can ask Utsera's child, the one who's here. Let's see, her name is Avasera, the daughter of the White Raven. I can ask her if she's willing to fight with us, but spirits are generally not these gods, do not directly intervene most times. It's why it's so surprising she's taking such a direct interest in me and, almost made me her avatar.
Yes, speak with Avasera.
Yeah.
See if she will lend aid in the battle in whatever way that she can. Certainly her powers would be a tremendous boon, and we need all that we can get at this dark hour.
Even if she won't directly take place, maybe she knows other allies that we could persuade, like your dragon. Beings, creatures that live on Haven Isle that might be willing to join the fight.
It could be. It will be worth our efforts. If they can be spared, it will be tremendously worth our efforts. There is something else, Wallykos, that I've been alluding to that I wanted to speak with you personally about.
Okay, I'm listening.
We've known each other for some time, and I have appeared under many different forms and guises. It is a ability of mine, you can say, that I can don faces and forms of about any person, and I have used that to great benefit.
It is a magic that I'm sure any sorcerer or wizard could probably emulate something of the sort. I've seen it before, yes.
Well, this is no illusion. I shift my shape. And when I say that the Topaz Dragon and all of our kind hate giants,
I think I see where you're going with this.
I do mean our kind.
Well, things are starting to slide into place. I had no idea. You hide it well, Corday. How long? Well, I see. It makes more sense now how you were able to get me away from Bale Vondor back then.
I use my skills as best I can. I am no grand emerald or sapphire or amethystium dragon. I am but a lowly crystal.
I don't know if there's a hierarchy, but any dragon, to call yourself lowly is a disservice to yourself. You are a being of magic and powerful, unique abilities.
I'll let you decide that for yourself. Well, now that we are hidden by cover amongst the rubble of the crumble.
Yeah. I look around. I use my perception to make sure that no one's,
Yeah, you're well blocked off amongst the rock piles and rubble of the crumble.
That's fair.
I want you to look upon me in my true form, Wallykos.
Okay. Certainly.
And he unfolds, and it really just takes a couple seconds. It happens very quickly, and his wings spread out, and there before you is a large size, about the size of the emerald dragon, maybe slightly less big, but still a large size dragon. And he has a pale colored crystal, sort of a off-white to quartz look about him. He has this snout spike that has the shape like a shard of quartz. Thick torso, thick limbs, dark claws, some spikes that run along his back, again like jutting crystals, and a kind of like a neck bulge or throat pouch look. And his eyes are these, they're like very well round, almost marble looking eyes.
Well, that's wow, I've never seen another dragon aside from the emerald, but I'd say that's pretty impressive. May I ask?
This is me, Wallykos. This is who I am. And in this time of great uncertainty and plans and clandestine plots,
have you revealed this secret to anyone else?
The topaz that I referred to earlier, he knows. Very few others.
Any other allies in Barnacle? I don't think you have many, but you have contacts, I'm sure.
No, Wallykos. Yeah. You are the only in Barnacle that knows.
Well, then, I would, I appreciate your trust in me. I hope to continue to be worthy of such. I assume that you don't want this shared with others, even among the vanguard, for the moment. Otherwise, you wouldn't have taken me, here alone.
Just you, Wallykos.
Yeah.
Just you.
Well, that's good to know we have your capabilities on our sides. I think it's best saved as a hidden reserve, if you will, because the giants probably don't expect a dragon, or two dragons, as the case may be, to be on our side. Did you know Zilix? I know that he's the dragon. I only found that out yesterday from the dwarves.
Not any better than you knew him.
Well, it's a surprise to us both, then, I imagine.
Well, let us get on to the meeting. I will, after that, make my way, flying as swiftly as possible, to the cave of the other. I do not like that place, and I do not like him. I am psionically bonded to the great enveloping positive energy plane that exists beyond our world, and he to the negative energy plane.
Okay, so you're like the yin and the yang almost.
We are quite opposed to one another.
Yeah, whatever the equivalent in this world would be. Positive and negative energies. That's interesting. Do you need backup? Will you be okay? Will he attack you?
Well, I've had a couple of scuffles with him before, but nothing I would call a serious battle.
Well, you're going to his home, though. It's his turf, his lair, if you will.
Yes.
I don't want you to go in unprepared. Is there anything I can do to help?
Well, I don't know, Wallykos. You are aligning ever more with Utsira and her daughter Avasira, beings of light, and that same scintillating light is what I have an affinity for. I think more of that would rub him the wrong way. I might want to play up a bit more your allies.
Yes, I see what you're saying.
Vapor, I think in particular, would take a shinning to him. They have something of a similar temperament.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel sorry that you have to deal with, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Just
well, I suppose that is all for now, Wallykos.
Practicality. I feel like
I was very nervous for this moment, but now I am glad that I have showed you my true form.
I'm glad that you trust me as well, because now that I know what you are, I can better plan and try to include this in our, going forward. We'll see
Please
what
do.
happens.
I have very few friends in this world, Wallykos. And you are one of them.
Thank you. I consider you a friend as well.
And he goes back into one of his more typical forms that he dons, which is like this kind of tall, broad-shouldered, square-jawed elven fellow. And you all convene in the Arcane Sanctum. The whole party, Arachno, is going to be there as well.
Okay.
So, planning.
Let's get together. I know that it's almost time for us to stop, but maybe we can just have a quick everyone together scene for this session.
Yes. So we've all, both in character and out of character, discussed a lot, and we all have a pretty good grip of what's going on. Adriel has... I just realized that we've got out of order. Let me put you guys...
Sorry, yeah, my internet
there we go.
went out for a bit
I had
there.
to swap Adriel and
my
Aygir
bad.
on the screen
Sorry
there.
about
Okay, got everybody back in order. Adriel does have some secret things that other people don't know about, and Wallykos has a few personal things, but really
I'm
Adriel's
working
one
on
of
it.
the secrets.
Yeah.
And a lot's going to be happening this day. It's like every day a lot's happening in this campaign. We're to that point. So there's going to be this city discourse. Hopefully Drakestone and Maracrat will be coming to better terms.
Well, we have
Not if Adriel has anything to say about it.
And
Yeah.
preparations for a potential incoming large-scale attack or siege by giants and their vehicles and
As
dwarf,
we are ignorant of
foot soldiers and engineers and constructs, and etc.
as we're ignorant of the enemy plans for the moment, I think we should get together in our little base with Cordain and discuss we go over everything that we have and discuss what we're going to be doing, because we have limited time and we need to decide how to best utilize it. I know Aygir wants to fiddle with the ship. He wants to focus on Artifice. Vapor, what do you want to do?
Vapor wants to... would like to take the attack to the enemy for once, other than us kind of reacting to stuff.
How would we go about doing that? What do you see and vision? Because we don't know the ships are on their way. That's
I know. See, that's the thing.
Adriel has a lot of information we don't.
Yeah, Vapor's... He's frustrated with us kind of reacting to stuff. He wants to somehow figure out how can we make a strike without being on the back foot at times.
We need to find the crackle powder. I think that's the best thing
So
we
then,
can do.
then with that, he would be saying we need to be focusing on trying to find that crackle powder.
Maybe we need to find Jib Wormbait, the other guy who we don't know is dead. Throw his name in there.
Klein.
Or Klein, yeah. Maybe we need to find Klein. Maybe we need to, track down someone else.
By the way, is Korgon, is he with us right now?
Yes,
Yes.
and Arachno too.
Oh, and
Yes,
Arachno. Okay.
Arachno.
Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
good.
I'm gonna say
Arachno.
Arachno.
This is the full vanguard.
Yeah, Arachno. Again, do you two happen to have any information on the Crackle Palata or any of these like Wormbait, Klein, anything at all would be useful?
Yeah, just
As Vapor want to have to react to any oncoming doom, I'd rather be proactive and deal with the situation before it happens.
Avasera has gifted me new abilities this night. I feel as though I can do what your uncle can do, and what I'm sorry.
Grandfather.
Yes, your grandfather and Crispin Hollows could do, where they sense out where a particular thing is. If I can get close enough, if you guys could narrow it down, I mean, that lasts for, 10 minutes, an hour? Let me see.
Any
10
information,
minutes.
information that you two may have gathered. Arachno, I know that you're always prowling the city. You must have come up with something.
There are some different locations that I could potentially suggest. I have not narrowed it down to a small list, but there are some locations which I think are strategic and they have not been thoroughly searched yet.
Good.
And so he does provide a list. There are a few specific locations in Shackle Downs. There are some in the Wharf District. There are some in the Noble Districts. And he's got this list. Since we're running out of time, I don't want to get into that just yet because that's going to lead to like us debating about which one we should look at.
Yeah.
I think the general idea was that today the guards were going to be searching through Long Keep,
priority targets.
Long Keep, and Strong Castle as much as they can get through. But for for the Vanguard to go do searching, Arachno has this list.
Perfect.
Yeah, we'll probably get into that next time because that's going to be like, okay, where do we immediately go this day before the big city meeting happens?
I guess I'll comment to Aygir. I'll say, Aygir, since we're discussing plans and such, do you have any idea on how we might learn about this airship and how to control it, how to use it, or perhaps how to reproduce it? It could be very useful in the coming weeks.
Well, Connie Spindle and I are going to spend some time. I do believe he speaks Dwarven, and we're going to talk to my prisoner and figure it out.
As well.
What is it to you?
I'm simply curious.
Well, be curious no longer. Do you not have a new magic weapon? I know you've been on my case about those before.
I do indeed. Duncan, my grandfather has given me a very powerful item.
I should spend some time continuing to discuss that with those members who would make mine as well. Anyway, what was that?
We could all benefit from some downtime. I get it. We all have things we want to do. But right now, we need to get through this Merocrat meeting. So for today, just for today, I think that we should stick together, not go our separate ways to do all our different things.
When is the Merocrat meeting again?
Tonight, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be this afternoon.
Okay.
Afternoon. Okay. So we have maybe a few hours to do stuff. Corgain, do you have any ideas? I know you have your own things that you have to prioritize, but do you have any information for us that we could act upon?
Anything at all would be very useful.
Just an option, something that we could do today.
Well, I think that your ability to divine the locations of objects is much better than the gods searching through things manually, bit by bit. With that, you reach out with your senses across a wide radius.
Yes.
How many castings of that could you produce
3.
today?
3 per day. Yes.
Okay, and each is for 10 minutes.
Yep.
I think that's great. Yep. Let's narrow down 3 locations from Arachno's list here.
And try.
Go to those 3.
Okay.
We can go all together if that would suffice. Well, maybe the 4 of you in Arachno. That way I can make my way out westward, seeking to convince a potential ally.
Yes.
Would it
has some stuff he needs to do.
Would it perhaps be useful? It seems that all of us going to these warehouses, it might arise suspicion. And did you need any help with this dragon, Corgain?
What dragon? He hasn't mentioned a dragon.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know if you mentioned dragon. My bad. I'm still thinking of your conversation. Did you need help with
This is an ally that is quite far removed from Barnacle. He dwells west of here, on the western coast. It will take me some time to get there, but I have swift means of travel.
Right, whatever you think.
If he could be brought onto our side, it would be a tremendous boon, as he bears the strength of, well, at least one of those Sky Knights.
Are you confident that he will aid us?
No,
Nothing.
I'm not, but he bears much loathing for the giants, and he would rather see them not retake Haven Isle.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
I think what I will suggest then is that we together investigate 3 locations. If we have a little bit of time, I can try to reach out to Avasera, see if she's willing to give us more information or leads. She seems to know a lot, but she doesn't seem to be willing to just give the answers, or maybe she can't just give the answers. So we'll see.
That is particularly in your realm, Wallykos. You are the one who treats with her. Duncan Mantevale as well.
I was going to say I could go to Duncan. Perhaps we could put our heads together and see if she'll answer the both of us.
Put your heads together, pray together, implore her, and let's see what mystical alliance could become with this goddess.
We're her tethers to this world is what I would think of us as, perhaps.
Yes. Or maybe she can bestow upon you some other sort of mystical gift to aid in the fight. Anything.
Whatever. Honestly, information would be more than enough, but if she wants to do it that way, I'm fine as well. Crispin, we'll see if anyone has sent a message to the stone, perhaps. I mean, I would think that a day with, usually you want to communicate every day with one of those stones. It recharges every day, I think. So maybe someone's reached out to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that could be valuable information.
Yep. Other than that, we have no leads. We just have to hope, pray, and maybe we'll get lucky. I want to be there to try and convince the Merocrats. I think the Merocrats have been fooled and duped. They've been made dupes of in this long enough. I think they should be having a say in, defending the city rather than just tearing it apart, dividing it. So, a common enemy will unite us, I hope.
We're running out of time in the session. I'm a little disappointed that Aygir and Vapor didn't have more to do this session. That's a bit of a bummer. So I wonder if we can find a way to emphasize and highlight them more next session.
I'm fine with that.
The meeting itself honestly doesn't need to take that much time. So if we can get that done quickly, then that can be we should start, but then we can move on to other stuff.
No, the next session just have 3 hours of Aygir, like you were mentioning the chat, just tinkering with the airship. You know,
of course,
like I'm gonna do this and this. And this.
And it's just you and the homunculus. You can't speak, and you're just You're feeding information to the audience through the homunculus.
Aygir ASMR. You know.
Anyways.
Ding, 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 ding.
Anyways, this is a good session. It's pretty much
one doesn't go there. That one goes there.
Nice. It
would be an interesting one.
That put me asleep. Yeah, so I guess this was a good session. Honestly, I feel we all kind of expected after 4 sessions of combat, 3 sessions.
Yeah.
Combat.
It was like half a session, then 2 full sessions, and then part of the beginning of last. It was kind of like if you combine it all together, 3 sessions.
We definitely learned a lot in this session. I feel like we got
How about this?
Oh, yeah.
Here's something that we can do to get Aygir and Vapor a little bit more this session. Aygir is half a milestone short of level 7.
For now, unless you said you
Is
got
that right?
a milestone
And
for
then,
some reason.
oh wait, no, Vapor already leveled up. Oh damn it.
Yeah.
How far away is
Aygir-
Adriel?
Adriel's 2 milestones away. So
2 milestones away. Okay.
Too far.
Okay. Ah, shit. Okay. I don't know why in my mind it was like Vapor and Aygir are just half a milestone away. So why not just let them do their level up now?
Yeah.
Okay, no. So scrap that idea. Yeah, we'll pause things there. I really tried to cover a lot of ground this session, and I think we did.
Honestly, I think that you
my
kind of revealed.
ideal was cover a lot of ground, but make it still good quality. Don't rush through it and make it shallow and crappy.
I think for next session, obviously we'll have the meeting with the Merocrats and Drakestone, and that'll give probably a lot of us chances to talk. But then after that, I'm sure we'll have downtime with Aygir and Vapor to do.
I don't know if we're gonna have downtime, but we'll see.
We'll see.
It really depends because there was a lot of reveals.
To be fair, next session literally could be Jib attacking Vapor somehow and them getting into a scuffle. You never know.
Yeah, we'll see. Or it could be a Jib attacking Wallykos.
That's true. It could be a Jib.
or who knows? But yeah, I don't know.
Well, yeah. Let's not drag this out. We'll pause things there. We'll get into next session with the meat and potatoes of hashing out your immediate plans with your meeting there, and then we'll put those plans in action, and other stuff will happen. All right, so thank you guys for playing another great session. Thank you everybody who watched live or caught up with us later on. Look forward to the next one as always.
Thanks
See you
for
guys.
watching.
May your adventures be many.
Indeed.